Hey, what's going on, people? So far it looks like I am here all by myself, which is fine. But I know this is kind of impromptu and last minute for some folks, but I just wanted to give you guys an opportunity to be able to call in because on last week's episode, I had uh, I had to run out and take care of some things, so I didn't get a chance. What's going on, Wendy? Megatron in the house. What's happening? What's happening? Okay, I see some ones. Awesome, awesome. Yeah, I just wanted to give you guys the opportunity to be able to call in. Oh, I'm gonna go dark on that side. Let me turn this light on. Oh, production value is quickly decreasing. But I wanted to give you guys the opportunity to call in so you could have your word because, like I said, when I covered this subject last week and for the Sunday show, like, and here, well, and we'll do a poll in a minute. Uh, three, can't see me, can't hear me. Uh, when I did this last week, like I really wanted to talk about like it's one of the things that has actually bothered me about covering this particular show. As we go through, we start covering Sister Wives, and the new season's about to drop, and everybody's excited about season 20. There is a point where I take a step back and I look at the longevity as far as the production value of the show. What is the lifespan of the production itself? It's not necessarily like pro OG3 or anti Kody, anti Robyn. It's just that given a chance, what are we going to see on this show? And will it be enough to maintain and sustain the show? For those who have grown fond of the show, fond of the characters on the show, I think that this is an important question. I think that this is something that we have to ask because if we just sit around, like, not all of it's all good, there's no problems, there's no issues, um, we can just keep watching Christine and Janelle and kind of hope for the best that everything will turn out okay. It's not going to be okay. All right, it's not going to be okay. I say all that to say, and here's something that you guys come on. I'd like you guys to address and try to answer. When you watch Sister Wives, are you watching Sister Wives because it's a innovative show? It's an interesting show. This is kind of in line with the poll. Or do you watch it more or less out of a sense of nostalgia? And it's because you've been there and you watched it. And you kind of want to see. It's almost like you open up a book, start reading the book, and if it's a murder mystery, you've already figured out who did it, and now you're just kind of at that point where you already know who did it, why, when, where, with what, but you just keep reading because you just want to see how they articulate the thing that you already know. And I kind of feel like that's where I am with Sister Wives. Like I already know, like I knew how this was going to act. To be honest with you, this is part of the reason why I didn't jump on the Sister Wife bandwagon in the beginning. Is because I always knew how this shit was going to end. Like it's not like statistically, what they always say, like when you get married, there's a 50-50 chance that you're gonna get divorced. 50% of the couples who get married get divorced. That's why you should try alternative lifestyles. Well, if you have open marriages or open relationships, only to everybody across the board. If you go to people who are like Generation Z and the young folks, their numbers actually bump up to like 8%. 8% of those relationships survive, have a survival rate. So it's not that it's not that we are so like locked in and we're so hooked on the spectacle or we just don't understand things. It's just the fact that when I'm watching this, I'm not sure where the show is going now. And are we watching it because we're finding out new information, or are we watching it because we've always watched it? Are we watching it because this is what we've always done? Is this something that we're finding out about Kody, Robyn, Christine, Janelle, Mary, and this is like the next phase of their life? And if it is the next phase of their life, are we really interested in seeing it? I think that one of the things that like earlier today, I tried to watch 90 Day Fiance, the Happily Ever After episode. First up, that show goes in for an hour and a half. It's a long damn show. Secondly, because most of the storylines, much like what's going on Sister Wives, are so contrived and made up fake ass storylines, and they have to try to find struggle and conflict anywhere they can because they're doing that, we're basically watching people on a reality show do an IRL stream, like where they get up. I'm kind of eavesdropping on somebody. They get up, they go brush their teeth, they comb their hair, they go down, eat a bowl of cereal, they maybe take their dog for a walk. Then I get to sit there, watch them drink coffee, roll credits. That's the show. And my question is, as we move into the next evolution of Sister Wives, is that what we're doomed to do? Are we just going to be sitting around watching these folks live these average, ordinary lives, and we're just watching their day to day? What is going to be the purpose of the show? That's the other question I'd like you guys to give me an answer to, if you can. When you look at Sister Wives, the purpose of Sister Wives, like if you gave a description of the show, it's, you could say it's how one man navigates the relationship with four of his wives, keeping the peace in the house amongst himself, them, and each other. Like that could be a description of the show. Uh, or another description of the show: three wives trying to hold on to what little financial security they can, while the fourth wife and the husband try to rip them all off and take everything from the family. That's a description of the show. What is a description of a show that involves the OG3? Like, what would their show be about? And that's the question. I think that, like, if you were sitting on a board, or if you were sitting on the production team of a reality show, and or you're part of the advertisement team of any reality show, that's what you have to pitch. Like, if this show came out, this is something we talked about on Sunday, if this show came out tomorrow or today, what would they broadcast this show? What would they tell people this show is about? I mean, you could do like the surviving polygamy, but how deep is that? That's like maybe a season. That's like a special, because surviving polygamy is just basically Christine getting married. So we're not really necessarily watching her survive polygamy as much as we are watching her develop and cultivate her monogamous marriage with her one husband. And that just basically, not to be a jerk, but that basically puts her in the same pot as every other relationship on TV. Let me know what you guys think. We have a call already. Somebody's already in the queue, as it were. We have Miss Michelle. Hey, Michelle, how you doing?
Hey, how's it going, sweetie?
Going very well.
Good. I want to be honest. I think the reason that I would continue to watch now is because I feel like I've sunk all this time, got to know the family in as much as you can, through a show.
Without being
I kind of,
psychopath, showed up to their house.
yeah, it's like I'm not going to be knocking there and going, "Hi, coffee," but
Right.
and there's a part of me that is just hanging in there to see a sense of justice served here.
Right.
I started watching the show because I'm naturally an inquisitive, nosy person. I just am. I wouldn't start from scratch again from today because it's not spectacular anymore, is it? It's one of many. They've diluted the formula far too much. Plus, I don't think I would be capable of believing as I've got older, three-quarters of the hype that goes on with Kody and his extravagance and his ridiculousness.
Right. Well, I think that's actually an excellent point, though, because, as we, I don't think it's just that we've grown accustomed to Kody, but I think we've kind of grown past the provided ignorance of
yeah,
when reality shows first came out, we were willing to buy into the fantasy that they were showing us their actual lives and this is what was actually going on between them.
yeah,
And we were less willing to believe that it was something that was scripted or put together by producers and or the cast. Whereas now, because of the exposure we've had and experience that we've had, I think that we've kind of matured and developed in how we watch these shows and how we approach these shows. So I don't think it's necessarily anybody's fault. I just think that it's kind of like when I talked on Sunday about like loving Buck Rogers
I love that
Wars and all
show.
that, right?
Mm.
But as you get older, and now when they come out with those shows, part of the challenges that those shows would have is that it's not enough for a guy to just pull out a tablet with some blinking lights on it and say that this is the gizmos that's going to solve all the problems and figure out your trajectory. Because people understand science in a more sophisticated way now than they did when those shows came out. Our
Yeah,
knowledge base has
definitely.
changed. So you have to, in order for you to come out with a show now, you have to be smart enough to be able to address a smarter audience. It's not enough for you just to say, this is how it is. We do stuff different because I got 4 wives, so I can go out and cuss ass out in the middle of the shopping center. Like that's not a thing. Like everybody understands that. Okay, we're grown accustomed to that. The shock value is going, and you treated your wife messed up. You know what I
I think
mean?
society's moved on as well. I mean, I think it's a bit like with a food palette. We all develop certain palettes that are kind of synonymous to us. But as you get older, your palette will change. The things
Right.
are the same with interests, I think.
Mhm.
The things that you would find interesting, you might find monotonous later
Right.
down the
Right.
line. And there is this very small, teeny tiny, probably the smallest thing on me is that I watch in the hopes that this guy at some point will get what's coming,
Hmm. Well, I mean,
you
I
know,
think that that's
and
fair
that,
though, because that's what I was talking about. Like part of the, I guess it's not just nostalgia, but there's also a sense of wanting or being desirous of having closure for this
yeah,
particular. Like we watch so much of it. You watch them do horrible, terrible things for so many years, and then there's just a sense of, or at least a streak of justice that rolls through everybody that says this guy has to get his comeuppance. It cannot end this way. You know what I mean?
no,
So we just keep showing up and we keep tuning in because we want to see, like, I don't want to be too graphic with it, but we kind of want our pound of flesh. You know what I mean? I want my pound of flesh. I want them to, you know what I mean?
I
I
feel
don't care
like
what like my man said. I don't care where you get it from, but that door doesn't open until
it's mine. I want it.
right,
Get
right,
it
exactly.
here. Yeah. I also think it's a bit like I personally can't watch soap operas. I
Mm,
I can't because there is no destination for it. It is
right, right.
putting your life on hold for a certain amount of hours a week to watch
Mm,
somebody else's made up life. I
right.
and no one stays happy.
Mm,
No one. And although that is somewhat realistic, no one stays happy. I mean, no one can catch a break. At some point, it's death, disease, dying, heartbreak, it's affairs,
right.
and let's face it, you know, if you live next door to Kody Brown and his lot, you'd move. You, I wouldn't stay there. I
Right.
couldn't watch that. But also, it's a chance to check in and see hopefully, how the kids are getting on with their lives. It's that parasocial kind of interest that people develop, I think.
Right, right.
But for me, yeah, I'm hanging in there for the justice of it all.
Mm.
I'm going to walk away sorely disappointed. This I know. But just on the teeny tiny off chance, I'm dialing in, you
Right,
know.
right,
But if I had to start again from scratch, hell no. Oh, God, no. Never.
right, right,
Never.
right, right. Yeah, you know what? And the weird part about it is too, if it was a situation where you knew that you would be where you are right now, if
Mm-hmm.
the show started tomorrow, you knew you would be where you are right now, and they said, you know, this is where you're going to be after 20 seasons. This is where
Yeah.
you're going to be. Most people will hard pass on that. I'm good. I can figure out other stuff to do. Because it's so. Because right now, I'm going to be very honest. I think that there are highlights and points where I'm like, this is awesome that Christine found her voice, found her free. Well, Christine always had her voice, found her freedom.
Yeah.
Mary is finding her freedom. Janelle is finding her freedom. They're breaking away. The kids seem to be doing well. Those are all highlights. But there,
Yeah.
for the most part, I don't think that like I just feel unsatisfied with the level of comeuppance that they've been able to achieve. And unfortunately, and this is the weird part about it, unfortunately, that is the one thing that is very much like how life works. You understand? Bad people do
Definitely.
bad shit all the time and get away with it. You know what I mean? And that's
It
part of the
might.
problem. I don't want to. If I can live life and watch life unfold that way, I don't have to tune into a show voluntarily and watch this, participate in this.
It goes back to a sense of injustice that he goes against the very basics of the first things that we get taught as human beings once we're able to understand. You don't steal, you don't lie, you don't treat other people in a horrible fashion.
Mm,
This man is the anti everything you're brought up. I was brought up to believe that nothing good comes from doing bad things.
right.
And so there is this, maybe it's just the culture of how I was raised, but I'm kind of like, I'm in this now. I'm in this. I have to see that that's right. And it's still possible. That gives me hope that douche canoes like that can't get away with being so horrible and disrespectful. But like I say, I won't labour the point. I think it is the justice thing for me. I'm hanging in there for a little bit of justice. And
Right.
if I don't get it, then obviously that's a sad thing, but it would make my heart happy to see it come good. It would, you
Well,
know?
who you telling? Who you telling? That's what. That's kind of why I'm still here. that's the only reason. I mean, I think that literally a majority of the sister wife fandom is
Mm,
tuning in because they want to see the payout for their investment. Because, like you said when you first called in, there is a time investment into this
yeah,
show, and they want to make sure that their investment has been well spent. So, in a way, we're kind of, in the situation you ever hear the term "throw good money after bad." We're kind of throwing that good time
yeah,
after bad, like you know what I
yeah.
mean. But I can't not do it because I'm too deep now. I'm too far in. So I'm about to ride this bad boy out and see what happens. Roll
You're,
the ball, Mister.
you're frightened that if you look away now, you're going to
Right,
miss the very thing that makes all this worth it. So
right.
it's like stepping away from a fruit machine or a slot machine and somebody sitting down one spin and they
And they
get
win,
everything you've invested in. So
yeah. That's my cash
yeah.
cow. I've been pulling quarters of that thing all day.
Yeah, shares is help, you know.
Right.
But my love to you all as always, and James, the total badass legend that you are. We are grateful that you are here white knuckling it with us,
No,
you
I
know.
appreciate it. I appreciate it. That's
But
how we
love to
supposed to
you
get
all.
together.
Mwah. Have a good
All
one,
right.
guys.
Have a good one. Enjoy the pond across the pond. Make sure you get grab
I
a
will
pond
do.
and all the good
I
stuff.
will do. Have a good day, everyone.
All right, have a good one.
Bye.
That was Michelle, folks. Awesome, Michelle. Michelle's awesome. Awesome, awesome. Oh man. Excellent points all the way around. And I think that there's some points that, especially as we start talking about it, let's have a conversation. What makes you hooked into the show? So you call it like, I guess, aside from like are you watching for the nostalgia point of it, or is it something deeper? Are you getting new information? Like that's something that, I can sit there and pretend like, oh, we're not finding out anything new. Are you learning anything from watching Sister Wives? Something that you wouldn't have known otherwise, whether it's about the AUB, polygamy, how polygamy works, how these breakups tend to work or fashion. I think, and here's my take on some of the like the weirdness or alternative points. I know that, kind of like everybody's mom says, "You're special. You're special." Everybody's mom told them they were special. Hopefully, you had that kind of child where everybody, parent told you that you were special and you were unique in some way, form, and fashion, and the world couldn't exist without you. The reality of it is that uh, everybody is pretty much everybody's special, right? And when it comes to these types of relationships, I think that there's a fascination with them that we try, we're so fixated on the fact that they're different that somehow we try to hold them as being so different they're almost alien. The truth of the matter is that when you look at interpersonal dynamics, relationships amongst people, whether you're in a relationship with one person or five people, you're dating one person or married to one person or five people, the basics of interaction will remain the same. You're not aliens who come from a different planet and they just understand love in a different way than we and love understand and practice love in a different way than the rest of us. You understand the same thing we understand and you practice it the same way we practice it. So, with that being said, Cody's relationship, say with his wives, were all predictable. Like if you mistreat your wife, whether you have one wife or three wives, you ignore them, you don't pay attention to them, you screw their kids over, you barely pay attention to their children. You understand what I mean? You're not giving them or adding to resources that the family needs in order for them to survive because you're too busy spending it on stuff that you want, or so you can go run them streets. Whether you're running the streets with a sister wife, your buddies, or just out there visiting like the shaky butt down on the corner spending all your grocery money. It doesn't matter. Those relationships are going to struggle and suffer the same damn way. It's not that these relationships are so unique and different. So, from that respect, when I watch Sister Wives, that's the analysis I use. And that's the analysis I still use. It's just understanding how relationships work, what people's reactions are going to be. Sure, you get certain passes on the surface theoretically because you're in this type of relationship. Oh, we're in a open relationship. This is something we agreed on. You're still going to deal with jealousy, just like you would in a monogamous relationship. You're still going to deal with envy, just like you do it in a monogamous relationship. There's the subtle difference between jealousy and envy. You're going to deal with insecurities just like you would in a monogamous relationship. The problem that you have, or the twist that you would have, is that those feelings could be institutionalized in people telling them that this is something you shouldn't feel, and they could be magnified because now they're trying to stuff down their natural feelings on how they feel about things because they agreed to this particular lifestyle. Now I can't go back and complain about it. Whereas in a monogamous relationship, if I come in there, if my wife walks in somewhere and she see me huddled up and bunched up in a corner with some young lady, then her reaction will be very vocal, and it will not be, constrained in any way. Like I don't have the protection to say this is something we all agreed to. I don't understand why you tripping. Like I don't have that. And that's something that in Cody's position, that's something that Cody gets to enjoy. He gets to say, well, look, I mean, we all agreed that when we first got married, we were going to let me go out and try to date other people. In order for me to marry other people, I got to date them. And it's important that I have a connection with them too. Like, that's something that he can say. But that doesn't make the relationship easier. And it doesn't, just because you agree to some shit doesn't mean that it's going to be better or more smooth. Uh, Next up, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, Wendy. Wendy had a question. Um, James, how much can we trust her new book? I'm gonna let not Brittany answer that question. I think that when you come out with this type of tell-all book, the fact that you don't tell everything, this is my initial reaction. I have not read the book yet. I got to do my due diligence and get on the book. But my initial reaction is, if you come out with a tell-all book and you don't tell all, then that already puts into question your the veracity of your claims. I'll say it that way. It puts it calls into question the veracity of your claims. Like, because I know some folks, like I saw where some people were saying strategically, you could come out with this type of book, and then later, after the show is over, come out with another book where you just do a barn burner, where you just burn all the bridges. Here's the thing with that: if you have book after book after book after book, and they're supposed to be tell-all books where you're going to tell the truth, and then all of a sudden, after all the money goes away, we know the money is going away because they canceled the show. When the money goes away, you come out with another book and say, "This is the one where I'm gonna tell everything." You have already that ship is already sailed. Like, you've missed your opportunity. It's kind of like, if you look at, if Mary came out with a book, would people buy it? Yes. But do I think that Mary's book, because it'll be the second or third book from Sister Wives, not including the Becoming Sister Wife book, but the first like tell all expose book, will it be as successful as Christine's? Nope. Nope. The only way Mary's book will be even remotely successful is if she does do a barn burner. But you have to do that barn burner within 3 books of release. You can't have like a whole volume of books doing this tell all. In my opinion, I mean, hey, prove me wrong, ladies. But in my opinion, I don't think you could have a whole list of books where you said, "This book, I'm gonna tell everything," and you tell us some stuff, but then you just kind of walk up to the line with those things, but you don't really plant your flag and say, "This was wrong. This is what this is. This is why I don't appreciate this." Or you tell a story where you say, "This is why Cody's a bad guy." And it's another story, because when push comes down to shove, you have to be very careful about that too. Because when push comes down to shove, and you continually tell these stories about how bad Kody was and how bad Kody is and all the terrible things he did to you, it's going to give, you know, not only credit to the Kody is a bad guy campaign that you're running, but it's also going to give a lot of credit to the people who are going to say, who are in the camp of, "I don't know why she stayed so long." If you can articulate that he did all these terrible things that we know about, and he said, "Yeah, the shit that y'all know about, that was nothing. Let me tell you about all these other things that he was doing," and people are already feeling like you should have been left, for you to come out with a whole book about stuff that was never covered on the show and things that were far worse, people want to say, "Well, I thought you should have left before. And now I think it's absolutely ridiculous that you stayed as long as you did." You understand what I mean? And the people who are willing to give the grace and cover of, this is their community, religious experience, safety and security of the kids, doing it for the kids, having a dad around, that voice is going to get smaller and smaller. And so, I mean, I just, like, if you're going to come out, you're going to be a truth teller, like I say, shove it in as deep as you can and twist it and break that bad boy off. Like, you don't, you know, you let them know where you at. Let the people know where you at. And that way, if you come out with a tell-all book, like you already came out and you just drop bomb after bomb after bomb after bomb, when you release your second book, it's more of the same. And people know what it is. But if you come out, you soft shoe everybody, and you do that for 2 or 3 books where you soft shoe the fuck out of it, pardon my friend, you soft shoe everybody, and then you want to come out with a hard hitting tell all book, the audience might be there for it, might not be there for it. They just, you know what I mean? Or you just hit a point where people say, I already understand and I've accepted that Cody's a terrible person. So you telling me another story about how bad he is, I don't care. I've already decided that he's a terrible person. I don't really need to hear, read, spend $25 on a book so I can read about how terrible Kody is when I already think Kody and Robyn are terrible. Like that's kind of the challenge you have. But coming up to the stage next, we have Megatron. Megatron, what's going on?
Hey, 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 what's going on a
What's going on?
Tuesday?
Hey, all right. Break all your ankles. Break every ankle you have.
Listen, and it's starting to get a little chilly up this way too. You know how look, bones cracking in the morning getting up.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I sound like a bowl of Cheerios getting up. Somebody
Yeah,
stripping on
I
a
get
bag of Cheerios.
yeah, Rice Krispies, Rice
Right?
Krispies.
That crackle popping.
Okay, so all right, let's get into it.
All right.
For me, I'm only 2 years into the Sister Wives universe, right? So I
Okay.
actually stumbled upon the show. I was getting my hair braided. Um, and whoever the girl that was braiding my hair was watching the show. And I remember the episode clear as day because it was the episode where what's Robin's Solomon when
Mm,
he went to swipe at Gwen, I think it was, and Garrison was trying to correct him and everybody jumped all
yeah.
down. So that really I was like, what? What's going on? And so the girl doing my hair was so frustrated and she was going, oh, she was like, how dare they getting all over Garrison and da, 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 da. And I'm like, okay, I don't like to be confused. I like to know the backstory on stuff because I'm nosy.
Uh,
Right. So I'm asking her, who is he? And she was like, well, he's the mom, Janelle's his mom, and Robin's the new wife, and that's her baby, and they treat her kids like they gold, and and I'm like, huh? Like, okay. So what's the name of this show? And where can I watch it? And so this was 2 years ago. So I ended up binge watching from the beginning after that, right?
right.
So I'm watching and I'm like, okay, so now I see why, the girl braiding my hair was so pissed because now I'm pissed.
Right, right.
And, in the 2 years, I've had more wine than all of my adult life combined just watching this show every Sunday night.
So
And
I guess
so,
that's like the added bonus because some I didn't figure. They're actually adding to the economy because everybody's running to the beer distributor and the wine and
you,
spirit
you,
spots.
or even the dispensary up here in DC, you got to have something for your nerves, okay?
Right, just move you out, right?
You
I got
have to. And so that's how I kind of stumbled into the Sister Wives universe. And so once I caught up, by the time I caught up, it was on the season where Christine was leaving.
you. Okay. Okay.
So that's when I'm like, okay, when I stumbled on it, it was the little boy was swatting or whatever, but it was an older episode. Right. So I'm
Right.
like, so now I feel like, all right, I'm invested into this. Now, like you said, I want my pound of flesh. I need for these two creepy crawlers to be stepped on. Like viciously and hard, no holds bar. And I think the frustration with a lot of people at this point, Christine's book, I think it's also a tale nothing at all because, like you said, we already know these two. I'm gonna say them. We know that they are horrible.
Right. Right.
At this point, it's nothing that any of them can reveal outside of, oh, he whooped my ass every Sunday night at 5 o'clock because he had to leave Robyn to come to my house. If you're not talking about him doing something like he took it from me when I said no, or there's nothing you can say to kind of get us on to a point where it's like, I'm about to spend, like you said, $30 to get your book. We already know all of this stuff, Christine. We already know it. The
Mm.
speculations that the theories that we've all came up with is exactly basically what she's saying in these books.
Right.
So I'm just like, I'm kind of over it, but at the same time, I'm like, I gotta see it through just because I started it.
Yeah, yeah, that's understandable because, like I said, like whether you predict the ending of a book or a movie or whatever, like I can sit there and watch most movies, and which is kind of like I just don't say anything, but with a lot of movies and television shows, I can pretty much predict who's going to say what. I've even gotten to the point where in some movies I'm able to predict the next line, like what the guy's
Right,
about to say. And I'll still sit there and watch it. Like I'm not like, oh,
right.
that's it. I'm tired of it. I figured it all out. I know who did it, why they did it. This ridiculous. I'm out of here. I'm gonna go up there and try to get my money back. No, I'll sit there and enjoy it. Like I'll enjoy the
Yeah,
spectacle of it. And I think that that's kind of where folks are. Like I think that people are at a point where we have invested so much time into this show that it's not necessarily that the show in and of itself is pulling you back. It's the investment that you have in the show that
yeah,
keeps you showing up to the
yeah.
show. And that's also one of the downfalls. And let me know what you think about this because I'm kind of taking a position that that's one of the things that will lead up to the eventual downfall, not only of the Sister Wives brand, but to the 90 Day Fiance brand as well as all the other shows on TLC because they're so used to winning with this model that people will just show up. I'll stamp it with 90 Day Fiance or Sister Wives, and people will show up and watch it. They're so used to doing that they don't put anything into what content they're actually displaying for people, drawing in new people.
I
Like if you're a
agree.
new
Oh my
person, if
gosh,
you watch,
I was thinking that, James. Okay,
mm,
so everything you're saying, I agree with. Simply because you got to look at the generation of kids, or of the generation after my generation. I'm 41, so not that
mm.
old enough to know better, but still too young to care. You know what I'm saying? But these kids are into that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
Right,
you have to change your approach. I guess you would say approach, and how you draw, because they're not drawing in new audiences. They're not.
right,
Like these younger kids, like, man, I don't care, because they are not decent. Like it's not, when Sister Wives came out, apparently what, in 2007, 2008 or something, that was out of the norm for me. Like, wait, what? Polygamous?
mm,
What is a polygamist? So I was curious. It was like, oh, this is interesting. But these kids see this stuff all the time. So they're like
right,
desensitized to it almost. So it's like, that ain't nothing new. Like, Kody would literally have to hang naked from a flagpole to get these kids to be like, I'm gonna tune in to watch it. Because
right,
when this
right.
show came out, like you said, it was on cable. Now everything is streaming, streaming, streaming. These
Hmm.
kids ain't tuning in. Like, it's more the 30 plus and up that's watching Sister Wives, and you got people dying off before y'all can even wrap it up. You know what I mean?
They kicking a bucket before we can get to the finish line.
Yeah, like, cause my mom, when I started watching this show, like, this was something that, like, when I first got into it, my mom, like, I was telling her about it, so she watched a couple of episodes of it, and then boom, she's gone. So it's like, your audience is dying off. Like, what are y'all doing?
Right,
Like,
right.
y'all ain't trying to change it up. Y'all ain't trying to bring nobody in. Nobody wants
Yeah,
to tune in to see. I know the younger people, they don't want to tune in to see Kody and Robyn acting like, oh, I don't understand. And I don't like, Ray Charles could understand and see what's happening here. Everybody except for y'all two. So
right.
that damsel in distress act that she puts on the entire 20 seasons, people are sick of it. Personally, I
Right.
know I am. Like, even my 11-year-old was like, Mom, she just cries. Like, why does she cry so much? And I'm like, baby, I have no words.
Right, right. Well, because
So they don't have a new audience, and then they are stressing out the older audience.
right,
So they're
right.
gonna have to figure something out. Like I was suggesting, like the old 90s TV, like that's the tell-alls are gonna have to be like in the way of like a Ricky Lake show or something like that.
Mm.
Because I mean,
Yeah,
give us something fresh. Give us some fresh. Give us something fresh.
right. And to be honest with you, I've always taken the position that reality shows, for the most part, are the natural evolution from talk shows. Because with talk shows, I get it. I'm of the generation, like you said, I'm old enough to remember it, young enough
Yeah.
not to care. But I remember talk shows, and the talk shows would come out and they would present like different lifestyles. They would present different experiences and different things that are going on in people's lives, and you would hear about it. They would talk about it. Whereas with the innovation of reality shows, we get to be a fly on the wall when the actual thing happens. So
Right.
we get to watch it in real time. Like I think that that's where reality shows come from. Like I think that that's, in my
That's how
opinion,
they
I think that that's
started.
where.
That's how they kind of like
Yeah.
started out. But now it's like it's so scripted that the appeal of being, because I think Christine in her book was talking about how Kody would tell the cameras cut. If he didn't like something that they said, he would make them cut. Because she, in her book, I haven't read the book yet, but I've been on Reddit looking at,
Mm,
the spoilers. And I think one of the spoilers Christine put in the book was if her, Janelle, or Mary, or one of the kids says something that Kody did not like or Robyn did not like, he actually would stop filming and make them cut that out, edit that out. So it's net, so which was one of my speculations. Like I feel like he's controlling the narrative.
right.
So is it reality? Is it really reality if I can tell the cameras? Because, and even Janelle, when her and Kody had that argument, she was like, "Shut it off." So
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, so that's what we doing. So it's like you're giving us a little bit, but you're not giving us the full scope of it. And see, that's not reality TV. Because when
Right.
reality TV first came out, we was getting all the nitty gritty.
Hmm.
We was getting, because was I Love New York and Flavor of, like we was getting all of that juice.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. Like
Now it's scripted.
you
Now
were
it's just
playing like
like,
what Real World, Jersey
yes,
Shore, and those
yes.
folks was messy. They were messy.
Because we got all of it.
Hot mess.
Nobody was there yelling cut but the director. And of course,
Right.
like in them shows, you could see the people saying, "Stop filming me, cut, cut." And then you'll see the directors like, keep going, keep going, keep
Yeah.
filming, keep filming.
Yeah.
You never see that in Sister
Fire.
Wives.
Yeah.
You
They
never
turn
see
that
that in
down.
Sister Wives. And so it's like it's so like I think the last caller was talking about soap opera, like it's more soap opera like
Right. Right.
to where he's cut. We're not putting that in, because I think it was she questioned Kody when he came home when she was having Truly, and she basically argued with him in front of the wives about her feelings of, well, you left me to go kiss on your girlfriend. Like she confronted him. Apparently he
Oh,
had
okay.
the footage cut.
Mm,
In the book he had that footage cut. So I'm
okay.
like, oh. So at my thing is, Christine, Mary, Janelle, like at what point did y'all in the very beginning say, you know what, this is not for me? Let me just go ahead and exit stage left, because this is the Kody Robyn show, basically, is what her book is
Right.
saying. From day one, it was the Kody Robyn show.
It's weird. I got to read the book because that is something. And when I first said that, I said that early on in my YouTube career. I said that early on, that when I first started covering Sister Wives, that this show, just in my analysis, like I said, I watch, consume copious amounts of entertainment and media. I said, when I'm looking at this show, I'm telling you that this show was structured to be about Kody and Robyn. This was the Kody and Robyn show, literally.
They're
Everything that they
courting.
did about the show was to support Kody and Robyn's love story
Mm-hmm.
from the beginning. Like, so, and I got like, no, this is about the OG3. No, it became
No,
about the OG3 because the audience forced it to be about the OG3. And to be honest with you, I think that in my perspective, and again, this is just my speculation, I think that if Cody's behavior was that way from the early onset in the
from the
earlier
beginning.
seasons, it only got worse as the other ladies rose in popularity and he and his favorite wife decreased in popularity. So as
Mm-hmm.
more people liked Christine and Janelle, that was hurting him and potentially causing more problems. And this is one of the funny things about show business families, that popularity and your ability to work, get gigs, and things of that nature can directly impact negatively on your relationship or your marriages with the other cast members. So if you're married to your husband, like Ricky Ricardo and Lucille Ball,
Lucy.
you know, the stories coming out about that. Lucille Ball, innovative lady actress, innovative, producing the show, directing the show, extremely successful. That created a problem between her and her husband when they got home, because he was saying, how the hell am I supposed to be the traditional man in the house and my
Yeah.
wife is on the set telling me what to do? And
Yep.
the show is named after her. It's called the Lucille Ball Show. I love Lucy, not we give a shit about Ricardo. And so he was
Right.
pissed. You know what I mean? And that kind of
Yeah.
stuff
Oh,
creates problems.
that's exactly what and Christine also touched, like, basically everything you're saying is what she says in the book. She
Mm.
actually says that she was in the process of trying to leave him before the show started.
Oh, okay.
She and Janelle only stayed because he love bombed them into staying for the purpose of the show. Because the show
Right.
was centered around his, because we've all heard, Robyn, well, the courtship had to go for so long. The courtship had to go for so long. Well, it went for so long because they had to film. Kody and Robyn been getting busy long before
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that show, because apparently what we saw the first season, her and Kody had already known each other for almost 2 years at that point.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so her book is basically saying, like, she said as soon as Robyn came on the scene, she was already out. This is truly pre all of that. Because remember, she had a pregnancy before Truly that she miscarried.
Right, right.
And his behavior apparently after that is now this is not in the book verbatim, but I kind of got that from it, what I saw. I think after that miscarriage is when he started courting Robyn. And
Mm.
she was over it. And so she was trying to make plans to leave, but he love bombed her and Janelle into staying. And then here, now you got Truly. And then she talks about how he literally, she didn't see him for weeks. The only time she saw Kody was when the film crew was at her house, which was every 4 nights at that point, I think.
That's a damn shame.
And I said, you know what? We all know that this man is disgusting, but we already knew that, though.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I
I mean,
mean,
she does go into detail. She does, but it's like, okay, you can't. It's nothing else you can tell me to bring my opinion of this man any lower, other
right.
than he whoop. Like I said, he whooped my ass every Sunday night or whatever. And then she's talking about Robyn is instructing her how to please Kody in the bedroom.
Yeah, yeah. I had heard
And
that.
I'm
I
like,
heard that.
okay. Like, did she do the same thing? I'm pretty sure she did the same thing for Mary. Because see, Mary was a pick
No,
me. I'll do it. I don't think Janelle went for that too much. I don't think Janelle went for that. Because, I think her and Janelle were on their way out. But he love bombed them and basically begged them to stay so they could get the show.
right,
So in
right.
other words, she was tricked into staying to do the show, but she stated she was already on her way out before they even got the show.
Well, let me
But
give my. That's something
he,
she should express, clearly express. I think that would be, just to let the audience know, like, okay, I was aware of it, and I mean, it betrays in a way. And this is the one thing that I've always kind of said too, is that as you find out more information on one side, it will give you a different perspective of Christine, because you'll look at her and say, wow, it's amazing. She was aware that this is a relationship that wasn't feeding her soul, wasn't feeding her life, her lifestyle, it wasn't helping her kids and her relationship with her kids. That's amazing. But then on the other side of it, you still stayed and you lied to us.
right.
It's not just on Kody and Robyn, because it's all of them. They
You
lied
signed
to
up
us.
for it.
You were lied to.
You wanted the money. You did it for.
Right.
So that's okay. So again, my opinion of you has went down a few degrees, because not only are you telling me that this stuff was going on pre-show, Now you're basically you're telling me, oh, I grifted y'all just like they did because I wanted the money. I'm a single mom, sweetheart. I get it. I understand. I
Mm.
understand you had to do what you had to do. But at the same time, you should have been telling this narrative from the beginning. Look, I was finna leave his ass, but we got offered this show. And I got to feed these 6 kids because he ain't help. He was not helping her prior to the show.
Right.
Mary had all that. Mary had all the juice,
Mm.
and
Because she was
so
also married to him, so she had the legal strings to be
yeah,
able to
but
pull.
also in the book, she talks about how awful Mary is. But you can look at Mary and tell Mary ain't worth 2 dead flies smashed together. She terrorized those sister wives. She terrorized the hell out of them. She goes into details about it. I know she went into a little more details today on the Sarah Fraser show, but Mary was a whore. That woman was. I ain't no way. He couldn't have married a southern woman because the cast iron skillet would have been flying in that kitchen on a daily basis. The way she talked about how nasty Mary was, she talked about how Mary would get like. You ever met somebody, James, where they would get you in front of a crowd and then they would say stuff to you in a way it was belittling, but it was said in a joking way. She basically talks
Yeah.
about that's basically why she could never be friends with Mary, because Mary will wait until behind closed doors. Mary didn't have a problem with her. Everything was okay. But when they would get out, in the public in front of family and friends, Mary would talk about, how she looked, her clothes, would call her, airhead, and it basically like just mean girl stuff.
Right. Right. Well, I mean, with that kind of thing, I mean, to be honest with you, I've had people like that. You gotta let them go because you cannot change that because once they get it in their mind that they can do that shit, there's nothing
Yeah.
you're going to say that's going to change their mind because everything that they do is always because, like you said, they always couch it in, "I'm just playing, I'm just joking," or they
Mm-hmm.
say something, "I don't want to be offended. I don't want you to be offended," or you know what I mean, some kind of excuse that way right before they say the most offensive thing they could possibly say. And
Right.
because they think they couched it in a joke or they said it with a smile running across their face or they try to soften their voice and say it in a polite way, I
Mm-hmm.
still understand how words work. You
Mm-hmm.
understand what I mean? So if you said what you said, then we're going to talk about what you said. We're not going to talk about how you said it. We're going to talk about
Right.
what you said. And
Right.
so with that kind of thing, and especially if you're trying to clown me in front of an audience, then
Yes.
if that's how we rolling, that's how we rolling. But don't try to clown me in front of everybody else and then come to me and quiet in it between the two of us. Like, I was just joking. I don't really mean that.
Uh-huh. And yep,
No,
she talked
no.
about
Keep
that.
that same energy. You know what I mean? Like
That's
you
what
messed
made,
up because your
yes.
buddies ain't around.
And let me put it out there. Kody wasn't the only one sucking up to her and Janelle. It was also Mary. Mary
Mm,
basically see that's why Mary won't go full throttle on Kody, because Kody got just as much dirt on her as she got on
right.
him. So those two are cloaking for each other. So basically Christine, she confirms that basically Kody and Mary basically bamboozled her and Janelle into doing the show basically. Cause she touches on that. She's like, yeah, because Mary was so awful, and Mary wasn't even though they all lived in the same house. She said she basically banned Mary from her part of the house. Like, don't come down here, don't look at me, don't speak to me, don't say nothing to my kids, blah 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 blah. And then when they got the opportunity to do this show, Kody's at her house every night, love bombing her. Mary's, let's work on our relation. I love you, and and Christine, with her little naive self, fell for the okie doke.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean,
So
you kind of wish that because it would be easier. Like I get it. Like you know what I mean. When you have I'll have to let you go because I got to jump into some other calls. But I get it. When you are with somebody, and you have kids. You want that relationship to work out, not just for it. Like it's easy to say, just listen to the kids. For the kids' sake, I hope it works for you too. You know what I mean? It would be easier if you could self-contain everything. But life is life, and the way it works, sometimes it just doesn't work out that way. Sometimes, you
yeah.
know. And it's just knowing, like, in those situations, it's just knowing when to, what's the cost benefit analysis? Is it
Yeah,
really worth it? What I got to do in order to keep this joker ass around and keep him happy? Is it worth it that I have to sell my dignity in this many
yeah,
varied ways in order to keep his ass around and happy? It's a lot of
yeah,
cases. There's no. There's no. It ain't gonna work.
yeah. I mean, I think in Christine case it worked out for her this go round, but
Oh, yeah, yeah,
like, girl, like for real though, like let's just call the spade a spade. Like you said, don't write no more books. We don't care. What's the little meme John? We don't care no more. At this
yeah,
point,
yeah.
if you ain't spilling that he was beating you up every Sunday night at 5 o'clock, or you know you was sleeping, he was, well, how did he die on top of me? If you ain't doing none of that, we don't want to hear it. We don't want to
Right,
hear it.
right.
But
Yeah.
anyway, thank you for taking my call. I said, Lord, on a
No
Tuesday,
worries.
I'm just hyped.
And I appreciate
Yeah,
it. I appreciate you calling in. It's great
no
hearing from you.
worries.
All
All right,
right,
you
now
too.
have a good one.
You too.
All right, bye. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Megatron. Pretty not Brady, what's going on?
Hey, how are you?
Doing well. I'm sorry, jump right into it with no introduction.
Oh
Ladies
no,
and gentlemen,
you're good.
one of the Mega Minds, Brittany not Brittany over the house.
You're good. I'm just glad I wasn't eating at the time. I was just like, you know what? He ain't gonna catch me slipping this time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Everybody does. I don't know what you do, what you do, like wherever, but it's always that way. As soon as you're like, all right, you know what? I've been sitting here on this phone waiting for this customer service person for
Right,
15 minutes, 50 minutes. I'm gonna just go ahead and heat something up in the microwave real quick because I'm starving. I didn't know
right.
this call was gonna take that long. As soon as your food get done and that bell go off and you get your first scoop of food in your mouth, all of a sudden, hello, how may I help you? What?
It's like trash, trash.
Right? Or you
Right.
know.
um, but but yeah. So I just wanted to answer your question. Why did I start watching Sister Wives? I actually it was during 2020, maybe
Mm,
2021. I can't remember. That whole panorama time is a blur. But IQ had a series, the channel, the YouTube channel IQ had a
right.
series of videos that gave like the background, or basically it was her um summarizing the book for Kody, Mary, Janelle, and Christine, and like for each of them in their marriages. And I knew the Sister Wives was a thing, but I never really paid attention to it.
Mm,
But after listening to that, that's how I ended up. I was just like, okay, well, let me see what this is about. And season 17 had already come out. Maybe it was season 16 had already come out, and we were waiting on season 17. And that's how I ended up getting into it. Um,
okay. So you're a late bloomer. Like you're a
exactly.
late comer.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I could not say that I am, an OG fan, but
Right.
I hit it hard. Like I binged the whole thing in like 2 weeks, like the whole series, because I was like, well, I ain't
Oh
got
wow.
nothing else to
Okay.
do. So, um, but yeah, so that's how I ended up getting into it. And I think unless people happen to see, I think the YouTube channels may work in their favor as far as garnering new fans to watch the upcoming seasons. But
Mm,
unless something like another panorama happens, I don't see a lot of people like going back and really investing the time to watch the whole series. Um
right. Right.
like during that time period when I was like on Reddit and I saw a lot of people going like, "Oh, I'm watching the whole thing for the first time." And that helped get more people, but now I don't really see too many people, saying like, "Oh yeah, I'm starting from the beginning. I've never watched this show." Like people
Right.
just don't
Right.
have the time. Um,
Well, because I
and
think that, like, in fairness, maybe even expand that a little bit, flesh that
mhm,
out a little bit more. I think that it's a combination of people don't have the time, they don't have necessarily the interest because there is so much content that's
yes,
available for folks. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I said this before, but my queue for like I have the streaming services, I
Mm-hmm.
guess the dealer's delight of streaming services, but I have those, and in each one of those, I have like a ton of like content that I
Right.
still have to watch. Like I
Have
have
to watch
content that's
now.
years old,
Mm-hmm.
shows I started and then like haven't finished like the series yet or movies. I'm like, yeah, when this movie come out, I'm definitely gonna see it, And then all of a sudden, like things happen and things come up, and I get locked into something else,
Right.
and I'm missing it. So it's just like I just think that the competition levels, and like you said, like I just don't think that unless they have like the pandemic where there was a time, where people were literally starved for content at that
Exactly.
time because that's how Tiger King became a thing. Like season one,
Mm-hmm.
Tiger King blew it out the box. Season two, Tiger King barely made numbers.
Right.
I mean,
Right. Because we was
so
outside again.
right, right,
Like,
right. Ain't nobody watching a video with a bunch of cats. Funniest
right.
thing about Tiger King side note, if you ever never seen Tiger King, folks, there's an episode of Tiger King. This dude was incredibly abusive to these animals. Somebody on Tiger King was trying to kill the damn Tiger King because he went into the cage with these tigers and there was something on his boots that the cats couldn't leave alone. I don't know whether they put catnip on his shit, what it was. But they were like coming at his boots, he like kicking at him, get away from me, get away from me. The tiger jumped on his boots and tried to pull his damn leg off. And he wound up shooting at the tiger because the damn thing was like attacking him.
Trying to kill.
But that
Yeah.
was like the closest thing to vengeance that the tigers got. This dude was horrible. He right where he should be.
Exactly.
In the
Right.
prison y'all. He was
Did not like
terrible with
that
him.
there.
Yeah, yeah. But you're 100% right. Like that pandemic, it was easier for people to just sit down and be like, okay, I'm kind of passively interested in Sister Wives. I'm curious about it. I don't have nothing to do tonight, so I'm just gonna sit there and keep
Yeah.
watching these episodes. You start smashing them out.
Mm-hmm. And then, even if you do have time, you start watching like the first 3 seasons, and then it gets boring. Like there's like 3 seasons of just nothing,
Mm,
just complete nothingness, where you're just like, okay, all right, it's like it's a grind to get through it, and people aren't really like, if it's not entertaining the whole way through, they really not gonna sit through that.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. Well, because that's another thing with I know we were talking a little bit about generations earlier in a live stream, but there is a real like for a content creator for if you're in the creative fields,
hmm.
there is a real point where you're fighting and battling with people's attention spans now.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Not like you used to. Like people will watch a movie and you could build a movie. They want to see the first scene. They want to see something, and it always like we have higher dopamine tolerance, so people need that fire off right off the top.
Right.
In quicker succession and immediate and in quicker succession. So you don't have time to like in this episode of Sister Wives, we gonna watch the Sister Wives go on vacation. Oh, let's get a camper, and they just all out there singing "Kumbaya." Like if nothing's happening, you might not get those people back for the next episode. You know what I mean?
Right.
Whether you have no matter what's going on in the next episode, they might not never come back.
Hell,
You know,
that happens. If I was not so invested, I wouldn't come back after some commercial breaks to this show.
when
Like,
they
oh
show
yeah,
up,
let's put this vanity together. Commercial break. Did you
right,
find the
right,
screwdriver? Commercial break. All right, we got
right.
one screw in. Commercial break. Okay. All right,
Yeah,
y'all.
or, yeah. At that point, Christine will say something like, "You could be my pretty helper." Like, who gives a shit? Like,
I don't
this is
care.
ridiculous. Yeah. What are we doing? Like,
Like, y'all
what
done
am I
pissed me off for the
watching?
last time. Right.
Right. I'm watching her do housework. I could be cleaning my house. What?
Exactly. Exactly. And again, it's late. It's late. I could be asleep. That's the most
Right.
important part. I could be asleep right now with how late y'all have this show going.
Mm,
And you got
mm.
me watching them do nothing
Right, right.
and then a
And that's
commercial break.
another thing. Because I didn't include that in my little list of, I guess, TLC complaints interns.
Yes.
Um, that is another big thing for me. Like the fact that you guys put this damn TLC, I'm talking directly to you. If you watch this, your interns, whoever. The fact that you guys put this show on at a specific time on a specific day Like you have it on a specific day. We're going to air new episodes on Sunday, like you used to. And you on Sunday morning, I could wake up and eat my breakfast and watch Sister Wives if I wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime it was up to me, it was my leisure. But you're trying to force me into watching this at a specific time, and the start time is so damn late that even when
Mm-hmm.
I do, like, to be honest with you, I low key feel bad doing the after show because people have shit to do the next day, and the show
Right.
starts so late, and
Mm-hmm.
then to jump on after the show, it can get crazy. Like
Mm-hmm.
especially when I first started doing it, we were like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. We was
For
getting off.
yes.
You know what I mean? That was nuts. But it's just like you guys started so freaking late, but you want the fan base. You make it inconvenient for us to watch it. You don't
Mm-hmm.
make it available for us to get it. Some of us have to go out and get additional streaming services or pay for premium cable in order for us to watch the show. And you make it now it's costing me money. It's not just costing me time, but it's actually costing me real dollars and real cents. And then
Also,
you
oh, go ahead. Go
disrespect
ahead.
us putting bullshit on. Like I'm sorry, that's my
No, no,
rant.
you could. You just reminded me because I had said something about HBO missing like two seasons. I was
Mm,
watching I was on TikTok and I was watching a video from Nikki Haverstock, and she said that like in season 12 on HBO and on Philo, season 12 is missing a few episodes. So even as you try to go back and watch, depending on what subscription you have, which one you pay for, you're not going to get the whole thing. So,
right,
if I'm watching Hulu, I'm paying not Hulu. If I'm watching HBO, I'm paying for HBO. I do not want to have to pay um for Discovery Plus just to watch all the seasons or have to buy, specific episodes because HBO doesn't have it on their, you know, on their platform. And quite frankly, like if I got Discovery Plus, I would only watch it to watch Sister Wives. I'm not paying $12 a month or however much it costs just to watch this one show that comes on for a few months out the year.
right,
Like it's not only are
yeah,
you wasting my time because nothing's happening on the show, but then you're also wasting my money.
right,
And I
yeah,
don't like that. Like now I'm even
yeah.
more aggravated. And then, Christine puts out this book that is just
But we've
it's
been
good,
lying.
but I was like,
Yeah, we've been lying, y'all.
we've been
All the
lying.
money you
Okay.
spent, yeah, it was fraud.
We lied the whole time. Okay.
Right, right.
All right. I got it. But girl, this could have been an email.
Yeah.
It's kind of how you feel because there's so much you this book is give me 1 second. Let me see. This book is how many pages long? 200. There's an epilogue. I'm not going to count that. 287 pages
Hmm.
for
Oh, that's a short
30.
book.
Yes,
That's a short book.
for like she does talk about her early childhood, but that's maybe like the first two, maybe three chapters of it.
Hmm.
But then
Okay.
the rest of that, that's like how long was she married to Kody? 30 plus years in 200, we'll say 250 pages. And
Wow.
I get that it is truly like a faith-based type book, so it is more going to be her, trying to talk about, how God loves her and, so forth and so on. And I love that for her. I love it. But you knew when you put this book out, the way it's been marketed, the way it's been pushed on her social media and everything, it doesn't translate as a faith-based book. It translate as a tell-all type of book where she's going to talk about Robyn. She's going to talk about her thing with Mary. And you get some of that, but a lot of it is again is just like the show is rehashing stuff that we already knew and giving like
Right.
some additional context. But it doesn't really like okay, I know Megatron was talking about the whole Mary situation, and I get where she's coming from as far as like Mary was very two-faced to Christine, and I can see that
Hmm.
from Mary. I can see Mary like getting in a situation where she doesn't feel comfortable and she lashes out on on other people. I can see that. I'm not taking that away from Christine that Mary was extremely mean to her. But y'all have been essentially saying that Mary was physically and verbally abusive to y'all for years. And you get on this, you take up however many pages of this book and basically tell me that you don't like Mary because she yelled at your child one time and because she made fun of you in front of some people. I know you lying.
Yeah, yeah.
I know you lying. Like I don't. She, Christine has every reason not to be friends with Mary. That's her prerogative. And honestly, if Christine just said, "I really just don't want to be friends with Mary, and I don't need a reason not to be," I would have been like, "And don't." I'm with you.
Right.
She doesn't. Great. But this story that has been like sort of touched on for years, kind of by all of them, is that Mary is this, horrible, terrible, mean person that just terrorizes everybody. This is your chance to explain this. And I'm sorry, but maybe she was trying to be nice to everybody because she sort of talks about some things that bothered her about Janelle, but she doesn't go in too much depth about it. But it's like, girl, don't don't give me another book. Don't even
Mm,
worry about it because this was your chance to tell the whole truth and you did it because you was trying to be nice to people, and that's why y'all show is failing because y'all was trying to be nice.
right.
So
Right.
there's,
Well, because
you
I
know,
think that's part of the problem is that you're already and it again. I don't want to be an ass about this, but I'm just saying, like real talk. You're
mm-hmm,
coming into the show for Christine. She's coming into the show, and after doing the show for 19 seasons, you come out, and a lot of what you're saying now, both you, Kody, everybody, is that the whole time that you've been filming this show, you've been lying for check.
mm-hmm,
And then you want to come out with a tell-all book, and in your tell-all book, because like I get like the religious connotation. If you're gonna come out with a religious book, come out with a religious book, but make it be
exactly,
known that this is a religious text,
mm-hmm,
not a tell-all book dressed as a religious book, a religious
mm-hmm,
book dressed as a tell-all book. You know why people are buying your damn book. People aren't buying your book because they want to find out about AUB and this is a religion choice they might want to make. They're buying your book because they want to hear about the relationship that you have with Kody and Robyn. It's just like Mary. The reason you
mm-hmm,
get pulled onto the I don't want to talk about their relationship, whether I talk to Mary, Kody and Robyn or not. Mary, that's why you're on the show. That's why Sarah
right,
Fraser has you on the show. She don't have you on the show because she wants to find out what's going on with you. She have you on the show because she want to find out what's going on with your relationship with these people because we don't
mm-hmm,
know much about you, and that's just the reality of it. And at the same time, when you establish that you will lie to us for money, and you come out with a reality book, your integrity is already compromised. So anything you come out in that book and say will already be suspect. One,
mm-hmm,
two, like you said with the allegations against Mary, I'm a huge proponent that if you're going to make these kind of allegations, you have to substantiate these allegations. Don't walk
say it
up
with
to the
your
line
whole
and don't play
chest.
around with it. Come out and just
Mm-hmm,
say what it is. Put it where the ghost can get it. You know what? Bump it. This is what she did. And she, especially if she did something, here's my thing. If she did something, you guys are no longer in a relationship. You no longer have to seek cover or protection, a choke of clarity, a cloak of
mm-hmm.
charity. None of that. Joke of charity.
They're
But
right.
you don't have to see none of that. You can come out, and if she did something that was crazy to your children, you have every right to come out and say, "Lady, you know what you did, and
Mm-hmm,
here's what you did." You want to get aired out publicly, you especially if you used to have my ass out publicly. Guess what?
right.
You getting aired out. We doing it.
Let's
You know
do
what I
it.
mean? Yeah,
Let's do
let's
it. And
pop it.
then add to that, you watch her, talk about how, she like, me and Mary, we just not gonna be friends because I can't trust her. And she always do that. But then as she's talking about her relationship with Kody, Kody did the same thing. And girl, you flipped it and reversed it for this man for like years.
Right,
Even
right.
after he did something. Like she talks about Truly and the whole situation that happened with Truly. I don't know if
Mm,
somebody's already mentioned it before, if you've heard about it. So essentially, she talks about the thing with Truly. Aspen called her while she was while they were in San Francisco and was like, Truly is super sick. I don't know what to do. Like her and McKelty are panicked. Christine calls Kody. Kody goes, "Oh, I'm too busy at Robyn's house. Like I got too much stuff to do over at Robyn's house." Christine gets back, takes her to the ER or something. She takes her to the doctor. She does take her to the doctor when she first gets back. The doctor is just like, "Oh, it's just the flu." She gets worse. Her eyes start rolling back. She goes back to the doctor, to the ER, or she goes somewhere like maybe like a doc in the box type place. That doctor tells her, "Oh, she just needs glasses." That's when Christine goes, "My child don't need no damn glasses." And that's when she takes her to her primary care physician, who then sends her to the ER. And it's just like there's something wrong with her kidneys. Fast forward, as they're re-going over everything that happened with Truly, Christine says on camera that if Truly would have died, she would have left Kody. No, she didn't
Mm,
say that. She said that to Robyn. She told Kody that she was like, "You were gonna let her die because you were too busy doing Robyn's laundry." And then
mm.
Kody made sure that got cut out. And then he's pissed. And then later on, she's talking to Robyn, and she tells Robyn, if 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 Truly had died because Kody was too busy dealing with your kids, or like dealing with everything in your house, trying to cater to you, I would have left the family. Robyn gets upset. She goes and complains to Kody. Kody gets mad and basically says that like Kody gets mad at Christine for hurting Robyn's feelings, not because he almost let her child die, but because after her child almost died, she had the audacity to hurt Robyn's feelings because of it.
I tell you what.
And
God
then,
bless Christine. And look, I'm hats off to you. I'm hats off to everybody who out there who's just like Christine, who would have said, you know what, if my child, something would have happened to my baby, I'd have left the family. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, that would not have been my response. If
absolutely
something would
not.
have happened to my baby, you know what I mean? I'm burning
You
this
don't
whole
worry
shit
about
in
it.
the parking
Don't
lot.
worry about
This
it.
whole little catacomb corner, like cul-de-sac. This would be a parking lot. This would not even a parking lot. This will be a ditch. Okay,
You gonna have a
look,
grave right next to her. Don't even worry
right,
about it. Don't even.
everybody
You
getting
can
buried out here.
guarantee you
You
that.
crazy?
Okay.
Oh, you in there doing some laundry? Okay,
Some laundry.
okay.
Okay. All right. All right. You over
Yeah,
there like fluffing some
nope.
towels, separating whites from darks, and my child is over here like, no, no, ain't no way. And then here's the thing: then you fast forward through the book, or within the show, you fast forward however many years from that, and Christine's sitting up here mad because Kody doesn't want to sleep with her anymore.
Yeah.
I don't, girl, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. You could have kept this book. You could have kept this book.
Yeah, you know what? That's that. I hate to say this. I've been saying this shit though. That's the one downside to this whole thing. Because
Mhm.
you say that, the initial response is like, "Oh, Cody, like this dude is ridiculous." Like you got your
Mhm.
little kids watching your little kid, your
Mhm.
little kid, and you next door, too busy doing some bullshit
Mhm.
for your favorite that you can't even take care of your kids.
Mhm.
It's not Christine's kids. These are his kids.
It's
You
kids,
can't
yes.
take care of your kids, bruh. And then then it is like you said, like you were complaining the way you guys presented it on the show. You were complaining because Cody wasn't gonna come down there and blow your wig back no more. Like you
Mhm.
should have been dumped his ass. He should have been got dropped. He should have got
Yes.
dropped in Vegas when he talked about, yeah, we gonna move to Arizona. Where we go well, we go all well. My house is getting paid for. My kids are doing well, so I'll be here. You guys enjoy your little trip to Arizona. You going, Janelle? That's half your family right there. All your kids are staying in Las Vegas. But this dude, man,
Janelle
I don't
said
know.
she wasn't gonna go. Janelle tried to
Mm,
convince Christine not to go to Arizona.
man, she should have listened. She should have listened.
They were
I
gonna.
mean,
Janelle was just like, "Nah, let's just stay here." But no,
mm,
no. Now y'all over there and all y'all looking goofy. And
right now.
then for as
Y'all
much as
sold your
like,
house and put your house money in his name.
right, just like I know y'all like, or like, there's so much that she doesn't talk about in the book. In 287 pages, she doesn't bring up the panel with with the former polygamists. She doesn't talk
Yeah,
about Robyn not allowing anybody to parent her kids. She mentions about how Robyn be crying for no reason, and she goes, "We'll get back to that later." Never does. Never does. She talks about that. Um, she she does this thing where like she'll mention some stuff about Janelle and basically hints that Janelle has a book coming out, but like, girl, this is your chance to tell your story. Don't go, "Oh, I'll save that story for another day." I'm gonna cuss you out.
right, right, right. Oh, we talk about it. Like I said, and talk
You
about it
know
is like I said, that's a courtesy. If it come to like if you almost killed my kid because you doing some damn laundry, that's more than a conversation. I
that
take that
and
as a personal affront. You know
and
what I
that
mean? That
portion
can't
of the
stand.
book, I think that portion is maybe 5 pages.
Mm.
That like it's really not a big portion of the book.
It's like, oh
It's
yeah,
it's
by the
not.
way,
You
yeah, by the
know,
way, that time you almost killed a kid, yeah.
right, right. She talks about Isabel and her surgery, and now that shit pissed me off about Kody. I'm sorry to cuss on your on your channel, but so basically, bless her heart, poor Isabel still thought like the day of the surgery, Isabel was still thinking that Kody was gonna figure out a way to come. Like she was still asking if maybe he was gonna come.
Oh,
Like her heart was broke. She was like, he's really not coming, is he, Mom? And Christine was like, no, no, he's not. The next day, after Christine, I mean, not after the surgery, they get Kody on the phone. Isabel asks Kody to sing to her, and he goes, "No, I don't feel like it. I
mm,
you don't feel like it. You don't feel like it." Then he got mad because he found out when the show aired that Aspen and Mitch and Hunter came up to see True, not to see True, but to see Isabel, and how it made him look bad that that they came up there. Um,
right.
she got this picture of, you know, it's a picture in the center of the book. They have like a collection of photos, and one is, the portrait that Robyn took Christina her kids out of and put her kids in. She
Mm,
doesn't address that in the book. She acknowledges that this is the picture that Robyn used for her picture with her kids, but nowhere in the book she doesn't address how that made her feel, like if that was weird, like nothing. Like there's just, it's gonna look cute on my shelf, but
right.
it was there was so much that we just don't she just doesn't bring up. You got 18 seasons worth of content to talk about, not to
Yeah,
mention
she
stuff
is.
that we didn't see on camera. And
Yeah,
you know a whole chapter is about her meeting David. Girl, we already saw that. We don't care. I don't know, like, I'm happy for you. I'm very happy that you found David. I think David's super sweet. I love him for her, but I didn't need a chapter about David. I needed 3 chapters about Robyn and how she ain't shit.
right.
I needed 5 about Kody. I needed about 11 about Mary, since y'all want to talk about her every damn season. And I needed at least 3 on Janelle.
Right, right. Well, because they had a turbulent relationship, especially in the beginning too. So
Hmm.
it would have been interesting to hear how they turned that around or why they turned it around, what bonded them together. But yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to let you go though because I have
Yes,
to
that's
talk
fine.
to
I know
some
you
other
got a whole
people.
bunch of people. So, yeah, I'm done.
Yeah.
That was it for me.
All right. Thank you
All
so much,
right.
Brittany. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. Have a good one. Brittany making some good points. Like I'm gonna have to get that damn book. I'm gonna get that damn book. I'm just gonna have to sit down. I think over the next couple weeks, I'm gonna just have to sit down. Not in a couple weeks. I'm gonna have to just sit down, power through it. He over there doing dirt. Lord have mercy. Oh man, you talking about mad, son? Oh, the furies of hell! Like, are you crazy? You know what they doing? Laundry? Oh, I'm busy. The baby ain't doing well. She's sick. It's like you get notified, and you know them little girls. Them, I'm calling little girls. Those young ladies, McKelty and Aspen, went over to the house, knocking on the door, saying, "Dad, Truly's not doing good." And you looked them in the face and said, "So what? Go on, take your ass back, because I got shit to do here. Because Robyn's away, and I got to make sure her house stays cool." Then they call their mom, and they have to call their mom in a different state to call you. Like, my dude, my dude. And you think, like, here's the crazy part. I didn't even really get into it, Brittany. It just occurred to me. Here's the crazy part. You update the situation years later. You think you gonna go back into a child custody hearing and get custody? You thought you was getting custody after that? My dude, there's no way. You can't almost kill a kid and they be like, oh yeah, I think I should get 50-50 custody. You're lucky if you don't get supervised visits, son. You're lucky if they let that child sit in a room with you by themselves after that. 50-50 custody because you don't want to pay child support. That's your damn problem. You're too busy trying to get out of your responsibilities as a parent already. So why the world would a court rubber stamp you getting the thing? And then you gonna come out and talk about men's rights? This is why, this is why when these groups start these little activization, like activist groups, you got to be careful about the people that you, one, allow join, and two, especially the people that you platform and the people whose stories you try to tell. Because if you got a joker who almost knock a child off because he's too busy doing laundry to take care of her medical needs, that is not a good example as to why courts are failing fathers who want to be involved with their kids' lives. Sorry, not sorry. There was a point that was brought up earlier. Um, that when I was talking to Megatron, and she was talking about like the younger generations naivete, or the younger generations won't tolerate, and I think this is a very good point as to why Sister Wives doesn't do well with younger demographics. Because younger demographics do not have, they're not going to tolerate what they would call in their normal parlance a boomer saying that they don't understand how life works. You're that old and you don't understand basic situations and interpersonal dynamics and how relationship dynamics and how they function. You're that old and you don't understand why what you said is hurtful. You're that old and you don't understand it when you tell somebody who is married to somebody that they can't be comfortable with their own sexual autonomy, and rather they must give that autonomy willingly or unwillingly to their partner because it's what they like, i.e., when season 16 or season 17, when Robyn was sitting there talking to Suki, and she said, "You had wives reject him physically because that's not who they are. That's not what they want." Look, if you have a guy, maybe you're cool with like some of the stuff that he wants to try to do. Maybe you're cool with it, but that doesn't mean everybody else is comfortable with it. And you're not open minded. And this is one of my pet peeves. You're not open minded if you tell somebody that they have to do a certain thing because you're okay with it. I'm open minded because I'm willing to do X, Y, Z. But if you're not willing to do X, Y, Z, then you're closed minded. No, you're closed minded because you won't accept their desires and things that they're into. That's your fault. So no, like, and the fact that like, okay, well, I'm willing to do X, Y, Z. What if one of the things that this dude wants to do is come in and drop a boom boom on your chest? You want to drop a Cleveland steam on your face, and well, you want you to reject his stuff he wants to do. It's gonna make him happy. Bump that. I'm not a toilet. You don't get to come in and do whatever you want to do to me. And because we're in the confines of our relationship, relationships mean that I have a freaking say. I get to determine. I'm not giving away my autonomy because I'm in a relationship with somebody or because I'm committed to somebody. I still have the right to say no if it's not something I want to do. If it's something I'm not into, just because you have a curiosity about it or something that maybe turns you on, that doesn't mean I have to do it. I encourage, if you have if you're in a couple relationship, they should be able to have a conversation about things that they want to try, things they want to do, things that are their fantasies. That's awesome. Have those conversations. But just because you bring it to the table doesn't mean that I got to automatically, rubber stamp it and we're going to go ahead and pencil that bad boy in to do on Saturday. No, that's not what that means. That's not what a relationship is. It's just creepy to me. It's creepy as hell. But next up, guys, we're going to get to keep the calls rolling. Oh, wait, I have a. Uh-oh. Miss some folks. We have a Jody Pierce Scala, $1.99 super chat. Hulu has seasons 12 through 18. So if you guys want to see it, thank you very much, Jody. That's important information. If you don't have Discovery Plus, HBO, TLC Go, TLC on cable, YouTube TV, or whatever cable provider, and you want to see it, but you do have a subscription to Hulu, and or if you have Disney, you also have Hulu. Some folks might not be aware. If you have Disney, you have Hulu. You can watch seasons 12 through 18. Be honest with you, you're going to miss a lot just with regard to, you'll miss the whole like adoption drama stuff, her coming into the family, the wedding, the adoption drama. You'll miss the vacations with the RV, and you'll miss the catfish stuff. But season 12 is pretty decent. Like even season 12 is decent. But thank you so much, Jody. Appreciate that. Let me give you a little shum. Jody Perez Scholar with the $1.99 super chat. It's our way of supporting her too. Yep, I got you. Like, and that's the thing. Like, I think when they write the tell-all books, we purchase them or we listen to people's stories, especially victims of different types of mistreatment. I don't know if I can say the A word, but different types of mistreatment. I think that it's liberating and it's healing to be able to talk about your experiences. Like I'm not going to diminish that at all. I think that is important, and I think that she should be able to say it. You know, I know there was a one point where Mary was basically telling her to shut the hell up, stop talking about it. But you have every right to voice your traumas and your experiences. The only thing, this is what my mom told me when I was a little kid. The only thing you owe people is the truth. Like you don't owe them a lie. You don't owe them your integrity. You don't owe them your cover and the deception to cover their bad behavior. The only thing you owe them is the truth. So as long as she's out there telling the truth, go ahead, tell your truth. Tell your truth. But I'm gonna give Jody a little something because she deserves it. All right. We have a local art switch. What's going on?
Hey, James, do you hear me?
Yes, I do. Yes,
Oh,
I do. How you
perfect,
been?
perfect. I've been good. How have you been?
Doing well. Doing well.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for taking my call. I wrote it all down so that way I can get through it without spending
Okay.
too much time. Just to add on to what you were just saying, and something I'm repeating all the time, abuse thrives in silence. So,
Absolutely.
like it is huge that she's saying what she's saying.
Mm.
And as far as like some of these people, if they wanted to be spoken well of, they should have behaved better.
Right. How about
Right.
that? How about that? you yeah. You know what? I have actually had a little story time. Story time. I had we were having some issues. I think I shared this before in my local government, and I wound up getting involved and doing some things. But as it turns out, like during one of the meetings, I got up and the guy was like, "Look, I don't want to be seen as being a bad guy here. I don't want you guys telling stories." And I told him straight up, I was like, "Look, if you don't want, people thinking you doing shady shit, stop doing shady shit." Like,
Yes.
that right there, like if you don't want me thinking you doing something criminal, stop doing stuff that looks criminal. Like that's
Yeah.
that's full stop. And you won't get people talking bad about you. If you don't want people like if you are ignoring your children, how about going to see your kids every once in a while so that way people can't come out and tell that story. And you're not
Mm-hmm.
arguing with them about their memories and the reality of you not going to see the kids.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I mean? But I
Yes.
100% agree.
Yes.
I'm in the first pew on that one.
So real quick, IQ does have her channel has a free Audible link. If you wanted an Audible copy, it's just a temporary, but if you wanted to listen to it, I've heard from a lot
Mm,
of people that it's better to listen to it, but it's like only 30
right.
days. So what I wanted to say though is like I'm like big struggling. There's like when we're thinking of storytelling, there's two tropes or themes I absolutely hate in storytelling. I hate amnesia stories
Mm.
and stories that is like, oh, it was all a dream. Um,
Yeah, I just sit there for 2 hours. Psych.
yeah, psych. And that's how I feel about amnesia stories. Like as a kid, I remember watching Sailor Moon, and
Uh-huh.
at the end of the first arc, they all lose their memories. And I was so mad because it's such a waste of my time.
Right,
Like,
right.
and with what everything we're learning, like as a survivor, I find it really reassuring to know that we weren't imagining things
Mm,
in black
mm,
and white. We were not imagining things. Like it's really common to be gaslit in a lot of these
right.
situations, and you question your reality. And we were not imagining things. So in that way, it's powerful. But I hate that I feel like there was so much time and effort wasted, you know?
Right, right. No,
Um,
you know what? And I appreciate the fact that of something you said that there as people undergo these traumatic situations and circumstances is very
mhm,
important that they're validated, their experiences are validated and
yes.
recognized for what they are, as opposed to somebody coming back because it's uncomfortable. Let's be honest, what it is.
Mhm,
You don't want to. A lot of times, people don't want to validate it because it's uncomfortable to them. They
yes.
put it on like, "Oh, I don't want to embarrass you. I don't want you to have to go through that again." But it's embarrassing for them for
Yes.
whatever reason, whether you were there, you didn't know about it, and potentially could have known about it, should have known about it, whatever the case may be, but you don't want to hear about it because it makes you uncomfortable. But here's
Right.
the thing with the way life is messy. The world is messy. And there's going to be things that we go through and things that we need to hear and understand that are going to be unpleasant and not make us feel comfortable. But we have to, especially as adults, we have to be able to face those things and deal with that, the uncomfortable nature of what it is, because that in that place where it's uncomfortable, that's where the outrage lives. That's where
Yes.
the disgust lives. And that's where the wrongness of what was done to people who suffered through these situations had to deal with. This is their experience. And I think
Yeah.
that that's where, like, we have to make that very clear. So I
Yes.
appreciate you bringing that up. I appreciate that.
Yes. The other thing is like I'm struggling between being like really angry, but
Hmm.
also then having guilt for being angry because she was abused too. Like, so I'm mad because they were lying to us for years. We all invested in these people. I've mentioned before, and I don't expect anybody to remember, but I was watching the show as it originally aired because I was genuinely interested, and
Hmm.
they seemed really pure. Like it seemed like a not a bad lifestyle. It seemed really nice in the way that they have their own community just built into their home. There's an alternate universe where I chose this lifestyle because the show made an impact. Like, you know what I mean?
Right, right.
Um, so I'm mad because I feel deceived
Hmm.
that I bought into it in the first place, especially I haven't read the book, but I've heard and just heard with the last phone call about how she wanted to leave before there was a show. What? That makes me so mad because like when he's getting ready to marry Robyn, the way he looks at Mary, it seemed like they were still in full fellowship or whatever. And I'm mad at all of these adults and how terrible and immature all of them were in different ways, putting these children at risk, in danger because they couldn't get over themselves. But then empathetic because I also grew up in a high control environment, somewhat similar to what the Duggars grew up with, like IBLP and that type of stuff. So
Right.
I know, while I'm not Mormon, I know it's hard to leave. I know it's really hard to deconstruct, because when you leave these high control groups, you're losing your family, all your
Mm.
friends, your community, and something that we don't think of is you completely lose what you thought your afterlife was going to be. So you grew up thinking you would get to see Nanny again, and now you have to be like, I'm not going to get to see her ever again. That's
Right.
gone now. And from what I understand of the Mormon beliefs is you are sealed to people. And if you leave, like what happens to that sealing? Do you never see, do you, you know what I mean? Like what
Mm.
happens? Um, so to hear that she wanted to leave before the show, when Christine was the main person that helped him to get the show, because she was in something voices. She was in a advocacy group for like legalizing polygamy, and that's part of the reason why they wanted to run this show, right? So like that's those pieces don't match up for me. I believe what the previous caller said, to be clear, but like why would you be running for this show? Like the amount of disassociation she must have had while trying to get this show, because you do need money. Y'all are poor, and I get that. You know, being poor is hard, but knowing that you're going to be selling a lifestyle and possibly converting a couple people while you know day to day it's a lie. Like I don't understand. Like
Right. Right. Well, because I mean, I think that that's one of the things that that bothers me more than anything else. Because, like you said, with the talking about like the panelists that they had talked to and basically berated
yes.
about their experiences, and even speaking of that, like the first, well, let me complete the thought. The first part is that there are people, maybe it didn't really affect me one way or another. It didn't move the
Mm,
needle for me when I was trying to think about whether this is viable or not. Like I was like, oh, you know what? This is a new thing. Why don't I go home and tell her, tell my wife that this is a possibility. I could get more wives. Like it looks amazing on TV. Like that wasn't a thing for me. But there might be people, if it affected one person where they thought that this is something that you could potentially do, or
yeah.
even negatively affect a relationship because you guys have like people have a committed relationship. They see these people on TV, they seem super happy, they seem like they're helping out, and they get the polygamy starter pack where you basically tell the new person coming in that we can make all your dreams come true. And if
Hmm.
you like an army recruiter, whatever you want to do, you want to be a DJ, we got DJs in the army. You want to be a
Hmm.
chef, we got chefs in the army. You know what I mean? You want to fly helicopters, whatever they need to do to get you to sign that paper, that's what they tell you. So
Yep.
when push comes down to shove, that's basically what we were given with Sister Wives. And there potentially could be people who made the decision to try to do, if not this type of polygamy, maybe open relationships or
Mm,
ethical non-monogamy or whatever the case may be, and not be
yes.
prepared to try this or do this and wind up sending their family to wreckage. But there's
Yes,
also a
because
point where like the folks who were being uh debated at
yes.
UNLV, that panel group, even talking about what we just talked about, invalidating other people's experiences because it benefits you And it would be uncomfortable if these people have negative experiences, which unironically, you're currently going through
You're in
and
it.
covering up. You know what I mean?
Yes,
You're
like,
telling them that no, these relationships are awesome. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, you're suffering the same way they were suffering. Maybe not to the same
yes.
extent as the Kingston people, because that's a whole nother level.
Mhm.
But you understand what I mean?
Yes, like you're suffering in different ways because of this. And, you know, in the Old Testament, there are some very big Abraham and Isaac and a couple of them who were polygamists. They had multiple wives. And so, even from just a standard Christian perspective back in the day, it didn't seem like it was different. That's why I started watching the show. I wanted to see how it would work, but it didn't seem that what is the right word I'm looking for? Like it had biblical links to it, and I could see where they were coming from, that they could feel like this was a true calling, right? To grow yourself, to grow your soul. Like it made sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I even remember being like, yeah, if I was to be any wife, I would also not want to be the first wife. Because then, like, at least if you're the second wife, you know that you're already sharing, right?
Right.
Um, yeah. So, um, a maybe hot take thought I have is I, uh, I'm going to get in trouble, but I think they owe people apologies. And I think that maybe Christine in particular owes apologies, particularly to her, is it her aunt? That
Mm-hmm.
family member of hers. And I think that it should be in private, but it should be as public as it was her, what she did on the show.
Right. And you know what? Now that I think about it, and see, this is why, like I said, this is where it gets dangerous for like spinoffs and stuff. But as I think about it, there was a point, even during that show, where that particular episode, her aunt's name is Kristen.
Yes.
And when she was sitting there arguing with Kristen, Kody jumps in and he says something to the effect of, yeah, I know your husband, and your husband is a bad man.
Mm,
Dude, you're bad. What are you
you're
talking
bad.
about? You're talking about him like he's an exception to the rule. Apparently, that's closer to the rule than you like to admit, because you guys are sitting in the same boat. You know what I
Yep.
mean? You might be on different sides of the boat, maybe rowing with different oars, but you guys are in the same damn boat. So
Yes.
what are you talking? Like the fact that the way he came at her, I didn't appreciate that, because like cutting all the crap aside and like them being the stars of the show and them having that deferential preferential treatment as far as how people look at them, the
Yes.
perception. When push them down and shove, there were no lies detected on that other side. They weren't
No.
saying anything that, eventually not only didn't pan out to be true for a lot of these relationships, but absolutely panned out to be true for the Brown family in particular.
Yep.
God bless them
Yeah.
for not blowing up the Brown family out there on that. Maybe that's why we only saw portions of the debate. We never saw
That's
the
the
whole
other
thing.
thing, because like not only do the Browns have the audience already, because we've already invested in them, right? At this
Mhm.
point where they were doing that. But the show itself can edit it in such a way that these other people look like they're not being fair, not being realistic, that they're just, it's not like judging somebody for being gay, even
Mhm.
though that's sort of how they want to make that. Um, they want to sort of blend it together so that way it's more about lifestyle rights, although
Right.
I don't really like that term. Um, it's not that though. So, especially like I really, in a lot of ways, I believed I was quite a bit younger, to be fair to my old self, when this show was first airing. But especially because of how they behaved when these people were naysaying the Browns, I believed that they were doing, like, I don't expect a play by play absolute truth. I understand that I'm getting snippets of life.
Mhm.
I understand that, they probably don't go swimming or to the park or something crazy every single day. But I do expect some amount of truth. It's kind of like family vloggers. They put extra things in their schedule, so they're doing things while they're filming. So it's not. I took a storyboarding, like animation, and something that you learn is to always be doing something else. You don't want to just. We called it making sandwiches. So
Right.
just homemaking, and some of that can be helpful once in a while, but nobody just wants to watch those day to day. Like, I mean, it was interesting that Christine used to make toast in the oven. That was different. But like otherwise, you know, we don't super want to know all of that all of the time, but we don't expect to be lied to about everything all of the time.
Right. Right.
And that's how I'm really starting to feel. And I think a lot of other, like just by listening to the other calls, why am I going to give you money to continue to lie to me?
Right. Right.
Like, say it with your whole chest. If, if it happened, if Mary, because, a lot of the accusations against Mary, if Mary was brave enough to be doing whatever it was that she was doing, then she should be able to say with her whole chest, yes, I beat up little kids or whatever it was that she was doing.
Right.
If you're brave enough to be not like, I'm a survivor of physical abuse. He was some big man, right?
Right.
But he wouldn't dare say, yep, I was beating on a little kid. No, say it with your whole chest. We both know what happened. Right? Last thing before I go, you were talking about custody.
Mm.
Regarding custody and Kody, I mean, he shouldn't get custody. I've heard, whose channel was it? Truly's not even allowed to sleep in the house. She sleeps on the outside house or something. She doesn't sleep in the main building, so she does not want to visit Kody. They have to go outside to get to Truly, which is
Wait, by
wild.
her choice or by their choice?
By their choice. They didn't want Truly in the house.
Oh, well, then, yeah, there ain't no point in her going over there.
Why even go over?
Right.
Like,
Right.
why
Yeah.
wouldn't
Yeah.
you put
No.
one of the adult daughters in the other house and let Truly have a bedroom in the dang house? But so of course, but Kevin Frankie of 8 Passengers fame, who just up and left for over a year, and then those kids nearly died. He got custody of all those kids, eh?
Oh, he did get the husband got him back?
Yep.
Yeah, he should not have custody.
Isn't that wild? That is wild. Like, he just has them. They don't, like, the laws in Utah seem to be really, really lax. Like, really lax. Like, I don't understand how he has like all 4 of them, like the youngest ones.
He should never.
Yeah.
He should, because he was taught, like, he is such a weird, like, that dude.
Yep. Have you
He
seen it?
should
Like, his
never have had them kids back. Because
never.
he's part of the reason why they were in jeopardy in the first. I mean, I
Yes.
won't be a jerk about it, but I'm gonna put it where it is. He's part of the reason why those kids were in danger in the first place, because he
Amen.
wasn't man enough to stand up for them kids and
Yes.
protect them when they couldn't protect themselves. Stand up and
E
protect themselves. That's
exactly.
your job to do.
That's
Like, that's
that
on you
was
to
he
do.
had one job,
Right.
and he couldn't or wouldn't because he was so afraid that Ruby would leave him. Like,
Right.
come on now. And like, it's gross to me because a lot of that abuse was happening while they were still doing 8 Passengers, and he
Mhm.
was allowing that. He was filming some of it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if you've watched any of their documentaries, but anyway, not to get on that, I just wanted to say, like, if Kody would have fought for it, like, most times it seems like if you're fighting for custody, a lot of men just don't bother showing up.
Right. Right.
So
Well, I mean,
just show up.
he could get custody. I think the problem that he was facing, or the question that he had, wasn't necessarily the issue of whether he could see her or not. What he was trying to do was he was trying to get a custody agreement that said he had her half the time,
Yes.
It could negate any potential child support claim that Christine will file against him. That's why
Yes.
he didn't care if because he even said, yeah, we'll work out a schedule later. I just want a piece of paper to say I have her half the time. Like he even
Yep.
said that.
Yeah,
Like,
he
I
just
mean,
didn't
which is
want to pay
ridiculous.
money.
So,
Like, can you imagine just living with half the audacity that Kody Brown lives with? Like, just walking around the world. Like, sometimes I'll be like, wow, not in a good way, but that
yeah.
is a really wild way to live. Um, one last thing before I let you go to somebody else. I was listening in on the members live that you did a while ago,
Mhm.
and I just wanted to mention, now I'm not Mormon, just, disclaimer, but I grew up with really intense purity culture. And just based on the clips I've heard from the book, it does sound like Christine was a little bit more educated in that arena than I was. But,
Mhm.
it was really taught to me that it does and will hurt. It's not really supposed to be nice.
Right.
Um, if it is nice, then you're a war.
Right.
Because it all centers the man, right? It's really about, I
Yeah.
would hear these horror stories of women who would not bleed the first time, and like it was horrible for her. It was, because he would assume that she was unchaste,
Right.
and he
Or
would try.
fix the tear the hymen. But the crazy part about, like, even with that,
Yeah,
I don't know if I can even say that, which is crazy. Like, how is it that I can't use the actual term for something?
I know. It's
Like, you know,
medical. Like for me, like, because I don't want to make you uncomfortable. I don't want to make any viewers uncomfortable. But in these areas, I approach it almost medically, and from the just remembering how I was raised. But
mhm,
like, I went and got some medical training and stuff, so I can see both sides of it quite well now. So I don't think of it in a sensational sexual way. I just see it as, this is how a lot of people are taught, and you shouldn't be bleeding.
right,
Like, the first time I learned that blew my mind. I was like 25, 26. Isn't
mhm,
that crazy? And, so she knew a little bit better, and I think that actually worked in against her in that moment. But
right,
she's right, like, one thing about men being able to sow their wild oats is, you're like, "Okay, at least one of us knows what we're doing." It doesn't have to be horrendous. I've heard that heard clips where, she was too sore for them to try again for the rest of their honeymoon. Um, and if, I listened to Jody, what is somebody in chat might know, Jody Hildebrand's niece, they're non-binary, they're nibbling, um, mentioned that Jody would accuse them of, um, playing with themselves. And
right,
anyway, they didn't even know with female anatomy that that was a thing that you could do. They had no idea what they were talking about. And that's really common for women who grow up in purity culture. Like, she would have had less than zero experience.
right,
And
right. Well, I
right?
mean, because even the thing with the like even as far as like the men getting angry with the women, like we'll take it in order. The men getting angry with the women because they don't bleed on the first time. There's a reality, especially if young ladies are very active in certain sports, that they
Yes.
very well could tear the hymen
Yeah.
for, and it has nothing to do with anything sexual. And then even to your point of what happened with Jody Hildebrand,
Mhm.
like the reality of it is that so much of what she talked about, which, I hate to say is like kind of a through line with a lot of these fundamentalist people, not just the AUB people, but across the
Yeah.
board. So much of what they try to put on somebody else is actually things that are baked into them. Like the
Yeah.
perversions that they say, oh, this is perverse, is something that, their accusations for somebody else and their perceived reality for somebody else's world is actually their reality in their own world that they're combating with. So
Yeah.
if she feels like if in case of Jody, she feels guilty because she has certain desires that she acts on with herself, then when she looks at her young niece or she looks at the person, the young person,
She's related to, yeah.
that she's related to. I don't want to offend anybody, but you understand when she looks at that young person and she puts it on her or them that this is what they're doing. I don't know what you talk about. No, this is what you're doing because this is what I'll be doing if I had a chat. You know what I mean? Like this is what I
Yes.
need to do. And you're not, and all it comes down to is you're not better than me. So if
Yes.
I am subject to falling into this, there's no way you're not doing it.
Yes.
You
Yes.
understand what I mean? So it's crazy. Like it's crazy.
Exactly. So yeah, I just wanted to mention it because, like I said, I wasn't raised exactly how Christine was, obviously, but I feel like I would have a little bit more. I I would watch the Duggars, the 19 Kids and Counting, and I had a lot in common with that family. Is the how I was raised. So I felt like I sort of understood sort of how she may have been raised as far as purity culture and what she was expecting on her first night. Like I knew girls who would try to make plans just because they would just be so anxious that they would not bleed, even if they knew they had been careful. They're like, oh, I fell really hard, or, like, what if, what if? And this could be
Right.
because I would hear people who got married before me, they would frantically search, even the husband, they're both searching the sheets the day after for proof that she was pure on their wedding night. It's so heartbreaking. Um, yeah, not to go off on a whole tangent, but anyway, um, yeah, abuse thrives in violence. Abuse thrives in silence. I'm glad she told her story, but I'm also big mad. And then I'm mad, then I'm mad. And yeah,
Well, thank you very much for that. I appreciate it.
thank you for having me, James.
No worries. No worries. Have a great night.
Thanks, you too.
All right. Fantastic call. Before we go too far, let me just do two things. Raiders Mob 489 Super Cheat. My grandma told me stories of girls being walked back home the morning after the weddings due to lack of proof. Oh my goodness. That's yeah. I mean, there are horror stories. There's horror stories. And then even like the whole idea of like, you're supposed to embrace the pain. You got to make it as unpleasant as you can for them because you don't want them to fall victim to temptation because they can't take it. Even with regard to like some cultures having actual removal of like genital mutilation for some of the young ladies and things because they want to prevent their ability to be able to enjoy it because you don't have to enjoy it in order for you to have a baby. Like, so you don't need to proof of receipt is only a evidence of his good time because it just has to happen that way. That's the way it was intended. So, I mean, it's extremely oppressive and it's regressive and it's just a horrible situation. Like, I feel bad for people who are tied into that. But let me give Raiders Ma a little something. Yeah, that's crazy. Walking them back home. Like, what you doing back here? Well, there's no evidence that she's pure and chaste. Well, I don't have no evidence that your ass is pure and chaste, and I'll let you marry her. So what are you talking about? I walked it down the aisle to your dumb ass. Like if I'd known you were an idiot or you had some kind of head trauma, then I never would have agreed to the wedding. I would have been protesting the whole time. She would have been free to do whatever she wanted, but I wouldn't have been there had I known that you are some kind of simpleton. Yeah, that's crazy. Walking them back home. Let me do the before we get too far, let me just close the poll out. The poll that we had, what kept people watching Sister Wives in the early days? The polygamy spectacle. 23% of you said it was because of the polygamy spectacle, like trying to figure out what was going on this polygamy thing. The family dynamics, that was at 32%. Said they were curious how the family actually worked.
Honestly, nothing special. 5% of you said, I don't know what the hell I was doing. It's just something to do on Sundays. Then, of course, you have curiosity, controversy. That was 40%. So we'll close the poll out there. Thank you guys so much for participating in that. Make sure you hit the like button. Appreciate you. Next up, we have Daisy Me. What's going on, Daisy? Hello,
Hi, James.
hello.
Hi, James.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing well. Oh, I'm sorry, Daisy. Before we get too far down the line, I wanted to give a huge shout out to Sisoka. Let's get some hearts in the chat for her and wish her the best in her love Soka. We'll get some hearts in the chat for her. Hopefully everything works out well for her and her family. Here they may potentially have some exciting news. I don't want to jinx anything by talking too much about it. But let's get some hearts in the chat for her. Hopefully things take and they work out the right way for you. Thank you. I'm sorry, Daisy Me, please.
Oh, not at all. Let's get some hearts in there.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I had a couple thoughts. First of all, I got the book. I didn't feel the same way about it. I think that we got to remember she's just a baby at recovering from the cult.
Mm-hmm.
She's in the baby steps of it. I thought it was, and it's a memoir. It's not a tell-all book. It's a memoir of her life. Now, is it a tell-all book? Nope, it is not. It doesn't have dirt in it. It isn't, do I hope we get that one day? Absolutely. That would be fun. It would be great if we could all sit down and have a book called Trash Talk. And they could all get together and actually trash talk. And we could all learn what we want to know. That would be great. But that isn't what it is. But I do think it's a nicely written book for her story as a baby recoverer, which is what it is. That is what it is. So if anybody's out there and they want to buy the book and because they want to tell all, don't buy it for that, because that's not what it is. Don't do that.
Well, you know what? And I appreciate that, because I think that's
looking for. Don't do that. Yeah. My original thought was, though, the other night, you were talking about David and how upset we were about him getting together with Kody.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he did. If you look at the preview for the new season, when Christine has dinner with Kody, or it looks like that's what they're doing, because I got to thinking about it and I was like, really, David, I hope you didn't go out with Kody one night. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think that they're already at dinner at the place that has the race car place. I think that's where Christine and David are having dinner with Kody. And then Kody and David go race out back.
Oh, okay.
I think it's all at the same place. I don't think Kody and David go on a whole separate day. I think it's at the same place. And if you look at David, because David and Christine, when they're sitting beside each other in the preview, because after I had that thought, if you look at David's shirt beside Christine when she's at that table, he is wearing that same blue shirt.
Okay.
And so that is my hope too.
I hope
I don't know this, but that is my hope.
Right. Well, I'm gonna be very clear. Like, I think that when push comes down to shove, if you have the maturity and you've had the type of separation where it's more accommodating, it's more affable, it's just a better separation. I'm cool, you're cool, we just not cool together, so we're gonna break up. That type, it's just way more amicable. I don't have a problem with meeting with people and talking with people, but what I'm not going to sit there and listen night after night and hold my wife and listen to her talk and regale me of stories about her abuse and mistreatment at the hands of this person. And me and him are ever going to sit down and have a cordial conversation and say,
exactly,
like we are beefing forever.
We are beefing forever. Absolutely. I totally agree with you, which is why I was like, please tell me it's not so. And then I had that thought and I was like, let me go look at that. Let me go look at that again. And he is wearing the same shirt. And I'm like, oh, please tell me they're at dinner. We'll have to wait for the season to come, but I'm hoping that they're just at the same place and they happen to go out back and do that. And it was all just made that way on purpose. That's my hope.
Right. Me both.
Yeah, and he didn't go out to dinner because I'm like, David's just not. I'm just hoping he's better than that because I'm with you. There
Right.
ain't no way. There just is no way I'm gonna go out with. I mean, there's one thing to keep peace because you went with your wife, who has, who's going to meet with her ex-husband. I mean, she's got to keep some level of peace because of Truly,
Right.
but
Right.
you
Yeah,
know,
you gonna be going to like you have kids together. So I mean, I'm fully expecting running into, you gonna run into dude at the family events or birthdays, holidays, weddings,
right,
funerals. You're gonna run into each other. And
right,
I can be cool, I can be cordial, I can even speak and say, hello, how are you? Hopefully everything's good. Cool.
right,
But
right.
please understand that the second she left my ass off, let me off the chain. That's it. Like you say
Exactly.
something wild to her, you come at her the wrong way, you say something sideways, you and I are gonna have a problem. Like
We are
simple as that.
not friends, honey.
Yeah,
We are cordial on purpose.
right.
Exactly.
Not an
Exactly.
incident, we gonna have a problem. Like
Exactly.
Houston, we have a problem. So
And
no, I
I
mean I
mean,
appreciate that, and I thank you for saying that because that gives a different light to it, and hopefully,
mhm.
like you've given me some hope, something to look forward
Yeah,
to.
yeah, that was my hope. So I went and watched it, and I'm like, yeah, he's at least got the same shirt on, so I'm hanging on to that hope. So,
Yeah,
and I, I also don't think that they lied to us on purpose. I do think that they lied to us,
mhm.
but when they came out with it, I, I think that they were telling their story, even though she wanted to leave him. I don't think that she was raised that she could.
Right.
It's like. It, it's like trying to get out of an abusive relationship is really hard.
No,
And so,
absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I think
it's
that there's also just the reality that abuse in a relationship compounds it because like many of us will sit here and argue or state the case, not necessarily argue, but we'll state the case that we have a time investment into this show, so therefore we show up week after week to watch the show and not necessarily want to. There is a time investment and an emotional investment in these relationships, especially if you uh are the subject of that type of mistreatment. You know what I mean?
absolutely
Because there's a part of you that has to work your mind around this particular event or instance so that it makes it okay or justifies your continuing with this relationship. So there's
right,
even more of an investment. So it's
right,
like in light of that, I think that it's even more difficult for you to walk away from that said investment.
absolutely. You have
So
to
you're
read
always
the
kind of looking
situation.
for the okay, well, he's going to change. I'm going to take him at his word, hoping for the best that he's going to change.
Right,
So that way, my time, especially in the case of like the sister wives and people in that situation, my womb, I've
hmm,
sacrificed my life. I've given this guy my body, my will, and everything else, so that we could bring life forward. And I don't want
right.
to, have done all that for nothing. So,
And she had to keep giving him chance after chance after chance
mm,
until she reached that final end, which didn't come until clear at the surgery.
right.
She reached that point where she finally was like, wait a minute. And
Mm,
then she had enough distance that she could see it, and she could finally have this disbelief moment where, wait a minute, I can believe that this is wrong. I can believe. And then it started this crack that she finally could see. And that was just a little crack, and it takes time. And so she's still, even though she's married to David and everything else, she's still in the baby steps of her recovery. So
I think that's fair. That's fair.
I think that when the whole show is over though, there might be an actual, trash talk. We
Yeah.
might get one
Yeah.
of those. We might not. I don't know if it'll ever come.
Mm.
I
Well, you know
I
what?
would
It's a in a way, and I'm gonna be very honest about myself. In a way, I recognize that for me, her coming out with a tell-all book, smashing and bashing and crashing on Kody, is selfish on my part because it really would do nothing for her. Like, yeah, you understand what I mean? Like, if anything, it
yeah,
would complicate her situation in her life because they do have kids together.
right, at least until that's over. Or she would, I mean, even her
Mm,
adult children, it would hurt
yeah,
them. Is it going to, I mean, if it's not going to benefit you and your children's lives, would you do it?
Right. That's what I mean. Like it'll be good for me. Like I'll read and laugh at Kody, but then at the same time, I'll go on with the rest of my life, and I don't have to think about it anymore.
Right.
She still has to deal with the fallout. So from that respect, I recognize that my desire for her to come out with a smash 'em, bash 'em, crash dummy, tell all book is selfish on my part. Like, because it'll give me joy, but I don't know if it'll do anything for her.
Yeah, even in this though, she got some cheeky comments in. She got a couple little cheeky comments in, but they were just cheeky comments. They weren't. There was no real bashing. I'm with that though. I think that the unsealing or the even though she doesn't need it because she's married to David, I think that they should all do it. I hope that Janelle really is going to do it, but we'll see if that comes this season.
Well, you know what? Mel and Corey from Notes to Self, they had said, Notes to Self 444. They had said that the church actually could do a proactive unsealing. So technically,
for Christine,
the prophet could look at that case and say, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and unseal you guys for neglect.
Yeah,
and whether they come and apply for it or not, he could do it. So
especially if Janelle does, then he would possibly do Christine.
Right. He just I know you're not a member of the church, but don't worry about it. Bam.
Right.
Freedom, baby.
Right. I would love to see Kody and Robyn's reaction to that though. That would be good.
He's gonna tear that living room up. Like he's going to the kitchen breaking all the dishes. They eat all the paper plates for the rest of the week.
We want that one unfiltered though. I don't think we're gonna get it, but that one we want unfiltered. I'm like, well, that's all I wanted. So we'll have to keep an eye out for that. And I'll call you back when we see how it goes down, James.
Well, I appreciate your call. Thank you so much.
Thank you too.
All right, have a good one.
You too.
Good night. Awesome. Well, I mean, I think that that's fair too. Like, I appreciate Daisy, kind of pulling me back a little bit because I'm like that damn book. But she, I didn't really think about it that way in those terms. But yeah, she is still new. Like she's fresh out the cold. She's not even like walking with baby legs. She don't have toddler legs. She got little baby legs. Like you ever see a baby stand up, like they wobbly as hell. But yeah, they're all like fresh out, and it's not to demean their efforts or demean their situations. It's just understanding that the ties that they had while they were bound to this church are so strong. It's not that they're weak. It's that the ties are so powerful that we have to take a second to recognize that as well, or at least take that into consideration. Like it's not a small feat. Like to break away from especially super religious families, fundamentalist families, whether you're AUB, Christian, Islamic, Jewish, or whatever, any of the Abrahamic religions or anything where your family is like tied in. I don't care if you're Hindu or Muslim or Buddhist. Like if your family is tied in, your community is tied in, and you say, you know what, I don't think this is right. That could be a hard thing. Just saying that I question what this faith is, that could be very difficult in some situations. But for you to live this lifestyle where you're married with kids and have a whole family in this community that's built on kids and family, for you to say, yeah, I kind of question whether this is right or wrong, that's a big thing. So, just given that difference. So I appreciate Daisy making that point. Next up, we got Linda in the house. What's going on, Linda? How are you?
For you to say, yeah, I kind of question whether this is right or wrong. That's a big thing. So,
hello, Linda.
Just given that. So I appreciate Daisy. Next up, we got Linda. What's going on, Linda?
Hey, James, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I was just waiting for it to catch up.
Do you hear me?
Yes.
Do you hear me now?
Yep. Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yep. Yes, I can.
Do you hear me, James?
Yeah, I can hear you. Do you hear me?
I can't hear you.
Oh, you don't hear me?
Oh, you hear me, but I can't hear you.
Yeah, I got you.
All right. I don't know. We got a technical difficulty here.
That's all right. For my show, situation normal.
Yeah, nothing is coming. I can't hear you at all.
Let
But
me
you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so then I hate that I can't interact with you, but all right, I'm gonna say my piece. I don't know what's going on with the connection. I had the YouTube on TV and I turned it off, but I was a little curious because Christine didn't get any Good Morning America or like the morning shows or anyone she knows, and I was like, I was waiting for that because I'm off this week and I didn't see anything. And I was curious about it. So the only thing she got was the Sarah Fraser podcast. So I went on that and I listened to it. And it was like about a 12-minute fluff piece. And I hate to burst your bubble, but I think she's taking us for a ride like everybody else, because Homegirl did say that she's going to have an in-depth follow-up book in the future in about a year or two. There's your sign. Oh my God, I'm
Yeah.
reading. I can't believe I can't hear you in this one-sided conversation. But if you want to talk to everybody on what I'm saying, raise your hand so I could shut up. I'm coming in hot. I'm trying not to curse. I remember I told you I wasn't gonna watch it. My dear, I redid my whole cable package and I took off TLC. It is like a big FU. I thought I was going to read the book because my friend has Audible. She was going to give me a link to sign up because I was going to do free 99. I'm not giving these mofos no money. The only reason I'm giving time is my background in healthcare. Like, I really want to see someone held accountable. Like, the more I see them, it's like, to me, they're all guilty. They are all guilty. They have all lied. So that little reunion between David and Kody, out of Christine's mouth. So anything I'm telling you is out of Christine's mouth, not anything that I saw, but out of her mouth. So she said Kody reached out to the producers who reached out to David. Christine said she didn't want to even talk to him. She didn't want him to have anything to do with it. But he came out and said, we have to be adults. These are your kids. You have kids. But Sarah asked like about 5 times, did he get paid? She never answered that question. She never answered it. Okay. So I'm thinking these people are just looking for the bag. And, I think back to Garrison. I think back to because you can't convince me Gabe didn't almost try to commit suicide or really get lost in depression and really get lost in drugs. So when she said that, I'm like, oh, I am so glad. I'm not watching it. I'll be talking to you guys because I had all those years invested like the caller did before. You thought everything was fine. Everything was good. And I think I stopped watching one season with the catfishing because I'm like, oh, they're going to go like everybody else with the sensationalism, right? But Christine said that, and what she elaborated on, Mary being a bully, I think Mary was just a disciplinarian. Like, all right, my background, Puerto Rican from Brooklyn, chancleta, the strap, whatever. And I was an obedient kid, but my thing is it was hard being this color Puerto Rican in 1970s Brooklyn. Okay. You had to kick ass or get your ass kicked, period. So I kicked ass. And, my grandmother was not about that life. You were representing your culture, the family, you had to behave, but I wasn't going to try to get beat up all the time. So, I did what I had to do. So what I did in self-defense. I didn't do it because I wanted to be a bad guy. But once I realized, what upset my grandmother, like I modified my behavior. But we came from a background, where you're going to get slapped in the head or someone's going to tell you something. It seemed like Christine's parenting style was let them be free and let them express themselves. And, you have like 3 feet of space in between you, because apparently at that time, all of the mothers, before Lehigh, they had a 3-bedroom. So the kids slept in the same room as the mothers, and they had one tiny kitchen. So someone had to put in order, and you had to have it because there were 6 or 7 kids. But I think Mary, you know, she also, you know, I don't live with the woman, but you could see in her eyes, she got that little, to me, like a little superiority thing, or if she gets a chance to do a dig, she'll do it. So apparently it wasn't the 10 cents that broke the camel's back. Because I think McKelty went to the store with Leon and she was 10 cents short. And the shopkeeper, you know, spotted her the money and Mary lost it, which I'm like, because she was embarrassed. Of all things to lose your shit about. I would think that was it. But Mary brought Christine into that LuLaRoe and they had a cruise. And this is what I mean. They weren't as pigeonholed and, you know, with the yoke around the neck as we think they were. You know, you joined these, whatever these marketing things and these schemes, and you went on a cruise or something. I don't think you're being isolated. I think you're being exposed to more people, right? And I think Mary felt slighted because Christine hadn't checked in with her or wasn't with her, and they had to do certain things. And so Mary embarrassed her in front of some of the people. You know, I would like to know what she thinks embarrassing is, because to me, like Christine, I think she wants to give this aura of being like the same aura Kody gave in the beginning, this happy puppy, like, you know, this here, the happy little puppy, and, you know, they're so nice and wonderful. No. If my husband lets my child almost die, I'm out. You're going to wait until a year or two after that surgery where he didn't even want to, they did a phone call and he didn't even want to like sing for her or something like that. Like, I think you mentioned it. She may have mentioned it on the podcast, because some of it I got so mad that I couldn't even hear because it was a fluff piece. It's a fluff piece, but she put in that tidbit that this season is not going to be as calm and this redemption arc is not going to be as good, that she hinted at some major argument. So I don't know if it's her and David or Kody and Janelle. But since we can't interact, and it's killing me because I love talking to you and getting the male perspective, the last thing that I'm just really going to point out is that, you know, she said she didn't go into depth. She you know, she just validated everything we thought. But what came to me was something you had said, which I think is true, that this was supposed to be the Kody and Robyn show, like it was supposed to be on them. And I was thinking about it, and I was thinking about how Kody's eyes change, because I don't know if anyone else noticed. The man has blue eyes, but sometimes they look black when he was talking and he had all this anger. And it's like, not that they were soulmates, but it's like Robyn brought out the demon in Kody because he's not a good guy. Because, you know, the way his sexual relations with Christine in the beginning seemed almost abusive. And the dude had experience. You lost your virginity in college. You had Mary, and no one's not going to tell me that Janelle's not a freak. Sorry. Right. Janelle loves her sex. Janelle learned a thing or two. I think Robyn turned him out because she definitely the hoe with the most. That's like, homegirl could probably teach us girls a thing or two about how to control your man with with your dangerous weapon. Okay, I don't want to demonetize you, so I'm gonna keep it clean. But I think that his behavior towards her was almost vindictive, because remember, she was royalty. She's an all red. And I think that was his way to stick it to people, because he does have a problem with authority. And the very, very last thing is that when Notes to Self goes online or whatever, I'm going to put the idea that her father, the prophet, should do that auto release on all of them, but excommunicate him where he could never come back in. All right. So that's all I'm going to say, since I can't talk to you. So I'm going to put it on the TV. So maybe I could hear you on the TV, but sorry I couldn't talk to you. I don't know what's going on with this phone, but that's my story and I'm sticking to it.
All right.
Bye, y'all.
Awesome. That was awesome. So much to say. I will say this. Like, I think that first and foremost, the reason why that there was a question, like I saw some people like, of course I get paid on TV. Not everybody who does reality shows get paid. Let's be very clear. Just because you're on a reality show, just because you're on TV, doesn't mean you're getting paid. Some of these people are showing up, doing filming for like 14 to 16 hours a day and aren't getting a nickel one for their participation on the show. Their payment is being on the show and increasing their social media presence, which is why you would do it. So there is a question as to why, whether David was paid. The other part of it is, if Kody calls a producer, and this is I think the point that she was making. If Kody called a producer and said, "Producer, let's organize a meeting between me and David where we can race cars or do something." One, you try to figure out something cool that you want to do, and you get them to pay for it. Two, it's a storyline for Kody, because if you remember, like I've been saying this for a few seasons now, like Kody and Robyn don't have storylines. They don't have storylines, especially storylines independent of how bad Kody treated them, the OG3. So he's trying to actively find or create these moments for television so that he can cash in on it. So it's not just the fact that that David was paid for his appearance racing Kody, but they generated or created this unnatural circumstance or event where the two of them are meeting to have this race in a car, and it's just not realistic. Like, one of the problems that I have, especially as we move forward with Sister Wives, is this: it's not realistic or natural that the OG3 would actually be spending enough time with Kody or Robyn to where they could film a TV show. They can't film a show together because there's no reason why any of them would be talking. Especially, I mean, yeah, you got kids together. I mean, that's ironic. We got kids together. You know, kids I don't talk to, them people I don't talk to. So that's kind of cute. But there's no reason why they would ever get together. Like, they have no reason to get together at all, especially with Kody coming off the way he was, them having the battles that they were having over child support. There's no reason why they would be even talking. The kids are grown. So if you want to call the kids, you can call the kids and talk to the kids. You don't need me to do it. Even though you're going to blame me that you don't talk to the kids, they all have their own phones. Most of these kids had their own phone probably at the age of 12, 13 years old anyway. So he could have called them personally if he wanted to talk to them. He didn't need the moms to arrange anything. So, I mean, I think that that's a big one. As far as like, just real quick, and then we'll get to the last two callers, Betty and Alexandra. But just real quick, what's going on, Betty? Just real quick, when push comes down to shove, the problem that I have, like, it's very telling when we talk about the press that the book is getting. That in itself is very telling. Like, I think that the book is going to hit New York Times bestseller, but I have a friend who did a coffee book. He's a New York Times bestselling author, and all he did was take a couple pictures of a coffee table and then put it together in a book. And he picked the release date. He's a comedian, so he wanted to have that as part of his credits when he went up and did his thing. New York Times bestseller, but took pictures of coffee tables. Yeah, he put it in a book and released it at a certain time because they have different categories for New York Times bestsellers. And he's on the New York Times bestseller list. And so I think she's going to hit that benchmark. But the fact that nobody's interested in talking to her about this book is very telling. When they came out with that first book, they were on everything. But TLC, like, this is another sign to me that TLC is suffering. And this show is in trouble. The show is in a lot of trouble, because if they can't even get a buzz off of news networks or whatever about this book, the release of this book, and she's not making rounds, that's a problem. That's a problem. But coming to the stage next, we got Betty. Betty, what's going on? How you doing?
Hey, sweetie, how are you? I'm coming in late here tonight. I did hear your about your autonomy. That was what I heard, because I was out running around getting my chicken and stuff together. And I'm going to piss somebody off. I already know, and I do not mean to. So please y'all don't come for my cornbread. But I am watching like the Ruby Frankie thing, but it made me think really long and hard. And I love, don't get me wrong, I love Janelle. I love Christine. I'm glad they're happy go lucky. But for a lot of years, those two women were the Kevin Frankie in the relationship because they did allow maybe not physical abuse, but emotional abuse, distance. They allowed that. And when we heard her in her little snippet of the book say they had to be careful not to piss Kody off with what they talked about on TV, you know damn good and well those children had to walk on eggshells during filming.
Right.
Sit down, behave, be quiet, to be seen, not heard. And there's a reason why, her son, what's his name? Peyton.
Dayton.
Is a pissed off, angry young man. There is a reason that it took the second child, not the first, for Maddie to finally say, you know what, I can't do this. Because with her first child, remember, she moved down there with them, with Janelle and Kody. They
Right.
lived there before they moved to Flagstaff. Well, when she had that second baby, and that baby was born with physical difficulties and differences, they weren't accommodating to that baby. And even made some, like Aurora and them made a few little snotty comments about it. And and Maddie had to learn how to protect that baby and know what, that baby needed to know she can do any damn thing anybody else can. She is not inhibited by
Well, she have
difficult.
challenges, but it doesn't mean that
She has challenges, but that doesn't define who you are. And sometimes it makes you a much stronger person.
Right.
But I mean, I'm just saying, I'm sure I'm pissing somebody off by doing that comparison. And I don't mean it like physical abuse. That's not what I meant. But you got to think about how many years.
Physical abuse
and then,
is bad, but like the like mental abuse, emotional abuse,
emotional, the distance.
That could be way more. I won't say it's way more damaging. I mean, I'm gonna put it.
No, it's way more damaging. You know what? I would have rather got smacked the shit out of by my mom than to have the emotional distance she put me through. Because I have 4 kids, been married 40 years, and I swear to God, even now, and my mother's passed, God rest her, there are things that trigger memories that bring tears because she just could not say I love you. It was me too. But my older sister was like her baby, and when I tried to help my sister and moved her 4 hours away, my mom would call my house 20 times a day to talk to my sister. The day my sister left my house, I didn't hear from my mom again for another year, just like that. Right. So, but that kind of hurt, it does not go away. And if you can't express it, like I would love to see a 2-hour show with, pardon me, I'm getting all hoarse. Janelle, Christine, not David, Janelle, Christine, and those older children, and not a counselor, a moderator, and have those children be able to say the hurt that is so deep that you don't want to hurt your parents' feelings. And then, like she got divorced, and then suddenly they became the parents to the parent, and everything has to be happy, happy, happy. We're going to dress you up. We're going to let you go dating. We're not going to talk about what hurt. And because there are probably resentments buried deep in there. And sometimes you don't feel like you have permission to talk about that. Even my own kids, I'm like, I know there are times that I fucked up, pardon my language, Lord, don't send me to hell, that maybe I said something harsh just because of learning from my own background. That I have to take it and say, you know what? If we need to talk, I mean, and I had to learn that when my kids were teenagers. It's like, let me shut up and let them get their feelings out of something I said or did that hurt them. And we have like I talk to all 4 of my kids every day. We have a great relationship, but it's harder as a parent for me to sit down and shut the hell up and let them talk. And not just immediately jump into defense of well, I did that because, or I didn't know. Like, okay, those are your feelings. They're valid. We'll discuss them because this is how you feel, and I want it to be clear and gone. I don't want to be dead and buried, and you still feel this way, and you never told me. But when they talk about safe space, that's hard. That's why I say a moderator. To sometimes you got to have somebody say, you know what? You got to be patient, and you got to sit and listen, even if it's hard to hear. Because there are some truths that your children tell you that are really hard to hear.
No, I agree. I agree. I think that they
So
have
I'm
that.
sorry I went off on that kind of tangent, but it's just I would love to have either a tell-all book with the whole family or a 2-hour special because those children were publicly humiliated. Give them a chance to publicly say how they felt, how it's react. I mean, God, look at the Janelle's child. You went out on a date with him knowing he ghosted that child at Christmas. No phone call, no nothing. 6 months later, he still hasn't fucking talked to her, and you're going on a dinner date. Well, what are you telling that child about their value?
Mm,
I'm sorry, but that's just so. I don't get me wrong. I love Christine and Janelle, but I would love to see a little more honesty, not the happy, giddy that you do for social media. I mean, hell, I can do that. Won't necessarily be true, but I can do it. Uh, you know, there have been times that, Lord knows, I've gotten into knockdown, drag out arguments with my oldest son because he's an ass and I'm an ass. But at the end of the conversation, we say, I love you.
right.
And we may be in the kitchen getting ready to take them chicken wings and bop the shit out of each other while we cook. But it's actually so much better because we get those feelings out. Yeah. And to me, that's much healthier. And then we giggle about it. Or I may just be an odd duck.
Well, because again, I think that like even though I think it would be helpful, I think that they have to acknowledge what the show did, and I think there's a reason why a lot of the kids don't participate because they don't necessarily want to be tied to a lot of the well, because there's a I'm torn because part of it is Kody came out in season 17 and said, I don't want to be in a family where we just taking sweet problems under the rug. But at the same time, you're also the guy who's yelling cut because you don't want your family to be exposed. So in an
Right.
effort to yell cut, you're taking those problems, lifting the rug and sweeping them under the rug.
Yep.
So, I mean, I think that they have to deal with that conflict too, because in one instance, they're being told that they have to be accountable to their actions and responsible for the things that they do and say. But at the same time, their father, the person who's demanding that accountability, doesn't have to be accountable for anything he does or says. And in fact, he's controlling the button when he tells people to, no, we're not going to show them that because it makes me look bad.
Right.
But I have no problem humiliating you guys because whatever you did, I'm going to pretend like it's the worst thing that a human being ever did to another human being. So,
But that's what I'm saying. They need a space where, like, because I mean, Peyton gets slammed on social media and he says and does some stupid shit. He's
right.
young. What kid doesn't? But there's a reason why he's angry at that. And, we saw Gabe, who was very emotional. The tears he's cried over the last couple of years. I mean, I guess we know he's getting mental. Get out of there. Sorry, my dog's in a cup of ice. But to be able to say, and the only reason I don't say family counselor, if they're the right ones, yes. But it can't be like Counselor Nancy, well, what I'm hearing, and then they get talked over. It's going to be like, no, shut the fuck up and listen. Oh, pardon my language. But sometimes you need that asshole to be that moderator, say, no, you need to be quiet and listen. Listen to what they're not accusing you, but they're letting you know how your actions or lack of reaction affected their life growing up. Because it does. I mean, you can be well into your 60s, amen, and still have feelings that go back to when you were 10 years old that never got resolved.
Right.
And it does shape how you raise your own children, how you view others. And sometimes, you have to be careful not to fall into those same cracks and try to step back. Like I said, because I'm not the perfect parent. Nobody is. But when my kids are older and we listen, it's hard to hear, okay, well, when I was 15, you said this, and I still remember you said it. And then I feel like shit. I'm like, I was angry. I said it in passing, and honest to God, I shouldn't have said it. But I need to, I do understand how I made you feel, and all I can do is apologize and do better.
Right.
I mean, we've had those conversations. It's not easy. And I was also very overprotective. I mean, like, I never wanted them to. Anybody could come to my house, and I would be there as a parent. But I was always so terrified to let my kids go away from me that, even to this day, like I freak out if I hear if I heard a siren in the background of your house right now, I'd be on my phone with my son in Philly. You okay?
Right.
I do it. I see social media, and if I see a car wreck in Mississippi, I'm checking in with both my two kids there. You okay? You okay? Check in, check in. Or they'll call me and say, Mom, we're fine. We know you just saw it. We're good. Because I freak out so bad about their safety. I did not mean to keep you on there that long, honey, because I know you got Jody waiting on you, but it's just a little different take. And if I piss people off, that was not my intent. We all come from different backgrounds, so I probably did piss somebody off, and I swear I didn't mean to. But when I get off of this chat, I'm going to go in because I'm trying to do a little special something for you. But I'm not going to say what until I make sure it actually works.
No, it's no worries. No worries. But I appreciate you calling in.
Oh, I love y'all to pieces.
Awesome.
Now I got to go get my wings, girl. You hear my stomach growling? Because I'm making some wings, but I'm doing an orange pepper wing, and I'm doing a mango pepper wing.
Nice.
With that, oh my God, you should smell them. It smells amazing.
There you go. There you go. So you're winning. You're winning.
Well, when it comes to food, anyway, I'm eating.
There you go. There you go.
That's always a plus. Now, I love you.
All right.
Y'all have a wonderful evening. I'm gonna try to, like I said, I don't want to say what I'm trying to do, but if it shows up, you'll see what I did.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
I love you, baby.
Have a great night.
You too. I'll be listening.
All right. Awesome. Betty Aldridge dropping some knowledge. Oh, I have to do some real quick things, and I'll get to you, Alexandra, momentarily. So be ready. Next up, we got TYC 21 $4.99 super cheat. The book was definitely filtered through social media speculations. She only highlighted what we already was saying. That's yeah. And that's kind of one of the things that that is kind of telltale for me. Because I appreciate, and this is one of the things, I won't even say something that she hasn't done or she has done. I'm just saying with these type of tell-all books, especially if you're going to detail any type of mistreatment that you went through, part of what fills it in for me is not you talking about or addressing the things that I already know about, but you telling me about things I didn't know about, things I had never even considered. That really fills in a lot of the blanks for me. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is that if you are in a household or in a situation, relationship, or whatever the case may be, how they treat you is how they treat you. So it's not usually, and this is the real deal part of it. Mistreatment is not a one-off, right? I'll even, what does she at? Oh wow, okay. All right, Betty. Oh, thank you so much. Holy smokes. All right. Yeah, mistreatment is not a one-off thing. So you'll have situations where somebody will be mistreated, and it's not the thing that the time that you might find out about it or catch them doing it isn't the first time they did it. Like, ironically, it's the same thing. Like, I even say, like, how people are is how people are. What people do is what people do. Cheating. The guy from Coldplay, I was talking to my wife earlier about it today. The guy from Coldplay, the vice president that got caught cheating, he hugged up with his girlfriend, and they had the Coldplay concert, and all of a sudden the kiss cam hit him, and booyah! Oh, I'm ducking. I can't believe this. You can't come home. You can if my wife or my lady was out at a damn concert with some dude hugged up with him in public, you can't tell me ever that that's the first time you did that. That's not the first time you did that. That might be the first time I saw it. But you're way too comfortable doing it for that to be the first time you did it. Nobody who first time I've ever stepped out of my relationship. Let's go to Coldplay concert and do something extremely public. Usually it's very quiet, it's very secretive, it's something that you're almost embarrassed about, so you don't try to get discovered. So it takes time for you to reach that comfortability and that part where you used to being out like that you do that kind of thing. So if you tell me that, yeah, we got caught going to the Coldplay concert in that particular instance, and we also went to the Motel 6, we went to the Red Roof, we went to the Marriott, we spent, went to the Greenleaf. If you don't have no money for a hotel, Greenleaf is the park or whatever, in the 4-wheel motel. We did this, that, and other. That fills in kind of the blanks for me. But if you just tell me like, yeah, the first time we ever cheated, let me tell you about the time we went to the Coldplay concert, you're still holding out. So that's kind of where I'm at. And that's where I think earlier Linda had said that, like, like you're kind of getting a teaser. Okay. And guess what, guys? In my next book, I'm going to really tell the truth. Why don't you tell the truth in this book? You have 30 years of experience with this dude. You got 30 years of examples that you could pull from. So you have material for days. You could probably do volumes of how this dude mistreated you. So you didn't have to save it. Like, I'm only going to talk about it book 3 because I only have a limited amount of experience of negativity with this dude. You got enough material where you could write book after book after book after book after book after book, and you probably would have been on the circuit talking to Good Morning America in different places. And TLC might even value you a little more. Because one of the downsides to this is, even though she has a book that comes out and is a New York Times bestseller, like Brittany Not Brittany was saying, those who are in the know that proclamation doesn't hold as much gravitas as average folks might think it does. A New York Times bestseller is not going to get you a spinoff show. Being on Good Morning America and different shows like talk shows and doing like a whole press run will get you a reality show. So that's my take. But thank you so much, TYC. Let me give you a little some. All right. And then we have Lizzie B gifted one My Take on Reality membership. What? That's awesome. Thank you so much, Lizzie B. So make sure you guys use that. We're going to, I have to come up with a time where we can do the members call-in show where we're going to run a panel. You guys can talk to each other. It's going to be awesome. Be a lot of fun. But I'll let you know when we'll drop it off for this week. And make sure you guys check that out. Let me give Lizzie B a little something. One of our mega mods up in the house. Yes. All right. And then we had a humongous super chat from the esteemed Miss Betty Aldridge. She said she was going to go in there and send you a little something special. Holy shit! With the hundo super chat. But Betty went the full yard up on this joint. I love you, and I'm glad to be part of this conversation. Betty, wow. That was awesome. Thank you so much, Betty. I appreciate you. Bring a tear to this old man's eyes. But let me give you a little something, Betty. That's very generous. I appreciate you. Okay, Betty. Thank you so much, Betty. I appreciate you. And I know that wasn't like just something you throw out, but I appreciate that. That's why I mean so much. Wow. Let's put some hearts in the chat for Betty. We're gonna dedicate this live to Betty Aldridge. That was awesome. But next up, ladies and gentlemen, coming to the stage, we have Alexandra. What's going on, Alexandra? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you, James?
Doing very well. Long time no hear. Hopefully everything's been going well.
Yeah, too well, actually. I've been going to a lot of music concerts, soca concerts, and
awesome.
So I always seem to like happen on Sundays, and so
Yeah, no, I'm not mad at that. As long as you're enjoying yourself and your family, that's what it's about.
Yeah, I'm on the rewatch a lot these days, but I'm around. And yeah, I don't know why it puts me as Love Soka. That's my alternative name on there. So if anyone sees me in the chat, that's me.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Well,
yeah,
congratulations.
yeah,
Congratulations.
thanks. Yeah, yeah. Our last embryo took, so now, but I'm not gonna get too excited until we're past the first trimester. So
No, no, I'm with you.
yeah,
I'm kind of in that camp too. I tend to try to manage my expectations by saying I don't believe shit till shit happens.
yeah,
So
yeah. Well, and I've lost before, so
yeah,
that comes with it too. So, but I mean, we're in the right direction, so I'm
there you
taking that.
go.
Yeah, so I just wanted to add my couple cents here. So I've been watching the show since it first debuted, and I started watching it because like I was in law school at the time, and I was actually taking courses on family law.
Mhm.
And from a legal perspective, I was like, how do they get around this? And then obviously realizing that just they're circumventing the laws and holding themselves out as married, even though they're not like legally married.
Right.
So that's what got me like watching it in the first place, was the curiosity of how do they address these legal things. And then I just stayed because it was a interesting show on periodically. Remember it used to be on at like 8 o'clock, and then it kept being bumped later because I remember
Mhm.
there was a time where it was like quite quite a long show. I don't know if they ever went to 2 hours, but sometimes in those half-hour shows they would double them up. So
Right.
um,
Right.
yeah. So anyways, it was something to watch. Also, like if I had a paper due the next day, I'd have it on in the background, as I was in school. But um, one thing I think with the show, and I've been meaning to call in also with Kody going on this extra show, and now with Christine in her book, and I think with any additional books that these people put out, I think all of us just like them even less because it shows us how much they've lied to us and deceived us. And I mean, obviously we knew part of it, like we weren't getting the whole story, but to know just how much was manufactured for the cameras um, really pierces the veil of it being a reality show. Like it's not a reality show, it's produced. And you like with Kody, I think for sure people who see him on that special forces, they might not go back and watch the whole series of Sister Wives, but they'll find out about not going to surgeries and being a deadbeat and all these other stuff that he does. Like I don't think it's gonna increase his popularity. It might increase some people who know of him, but
Mm.
I think to know him, there's nothing really redeeming about him. To say like he's had all these wives and all these kids and he's this great dad, that's how they put him out at the beginning, and he's not. So
Right.
I don't see how going on that show helps him, other than further his villainous character, which might get him onto further things maybe, but I don't think it's going to redeem him. And I don't know about other viewers, but for me it doesn't redeem him to go on this apology tour. Like, not only did he say terrible things about them, he treated them badly, he neglected the kids, and now just a dinner saying, "Oh, I'm sorry."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, you mistreat them for like 20, 30 years, and you get to dinner and be like, my bad.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh
yeah,
yeah, I'll take the number 3, please. With the sauce. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
it.
So we're all good now, right? We're even.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, he must go to he must take them to dinner or have them take him to dinner on like his cheat days or something. Because the way he goes after the food is almost insane.
right.
You know.
Well, I guess his stories, right? The stories of the him going to Salsa Brava, he just sits there and eats beans and stuff.
Yeah.
So he's like, "Oh, TLC's footing the bill, so I guess I can chow
With,
down on
with
my
some meat
eggs
in
and
that
wine."
beans, you
Yeah,
know.
I don't know though, but this from the book, and I've read it, Christine's book. I I don't like her any more than before,
Oh,
and I
okay.
just like I see some of the really bad stories of how Kody treated her and stuff.
Mhm.
And to me, it's like, but that's even more evidence of red flags early on that you ignored. Now,
Right,
like
right.
I'm sure a lot of us have been in bad relationships, and you do tolerate a lot of stuff, but I don't know. I just to everything that happened and the way the kids were treated, like what happened with Truly, to say, well, if she died, then I would have left. Well, how about the fact that she almost died? Like that's pretty significant. The fact that you had to go through all that, that's pretty significant. And to not demand change in him afterwards, like I just don't see how this book helps her image. It didn't for me anyway. So,
Right.
and I
Right.
went in, like I've always, since she left him, I appreciated her her bravery in doing that. I think it was amazing, but I also think it was just far too late and for far the wrong reason. So that's kind of where I'm at with all that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know what? Because it also occurs to me too that perhaps the reason why she's so adamantly uh released this, she designed and structured it so she would release the book now.
Hmm.
And I would just ask that folks consider this question. Did she strategize to release the book now because she wanted to release it for us? Because one of the things that it just occurred, like some things are clicking for me in the moment.
Hmm.
We're talking about like a lot of the stuff that's being said in the book is stuff that we've already seen. So it's just a rehash and maybe a more detailed description of things that we've already seen.
Hmm.
And perhaps the reason why she did that isn't for the fan base. Like this isn't our book.
Hmm.
The same way I said that Kody going on Special Forces and doing the apology tour isn't for us.
Hmm.
And reimagining his history is not for the fan base. It's for the
Hmm.
prospective new fans.
Yeah.
And so Christine may be, I didn't really think about this before, but she might be releasing this book as a way to to um to cut down Cody's
Hmm.
potential popularity off of leaving Special Forces. So she
Yeah.
has like this book. If you don't want to see the show, like you don't go back watch 19 seasons, here's
Hmm.
my story why me and his relationship didn't work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
So this might be her way of undercutting him. I didn't think about it before,
yeah.
but that might be it.
Yeah, and I think she's also protecting people a lot in the book. Like I feel she's protecting Janelle, and that's probably because she values that relationship currently. So she's not
Mm,
spilling all the tea on Janelle, which frankly, Janelle left all the childcare to her. She would go to
right.
work before 7 a.m., come home. I think Christine would cook her dinners, and like that's a long time to watch kids without a break, like 12 hours. So,
Mhm.
she Christine, had all this childcare and Janelle just kind of offloaded it onto her. So I think there's got to be some resentment there because that didn't change till the show came on. Um, but then also Christine said something in an interview about not wanting to hurt her family. Like I think her mother and other people like that. That's the impression I got. So in the book, she like idealizes her childhood and how happy she was and this and that. And I'm like, yeah, but Christine, you idealized your marriage to us on TV those first
Right.
few seasons. Like, yes, you did say there were problems, but you made it sound like you guys were strong and together and this and that. And now we're finding out that's not at all the case. So I think in her book, she's like trying to idealize her childhood. And I don't think it was as good as she thinks it was. But I think she doesn't want to hurt family members. So she's playing this like, oh, like she said when she was 8, she found out her grandfather was murdered. And it's like, that's pretty big,
Right.
that's
Right.
pretty traumatic. And to be like, well, my, her life changed then. Yeah, but that's like big. I can't imagine an 8-year-old dealing with that. My son's 8 and he can
Yeah.
barely handle that he's going to school tomorrow and won't see me for 6 hours of the day, like,
Well, because there was that was a fallout from the LeBaron feud,
yeah,
guys in Mexico
yeah.
coming up and taking them out. But I think you're right. Like I think that there is a point, like because I'm actually more interested in reading it now, just from the respect of like even the potential that she's kind of covering for the like her childhood.
Hmm.
It begs the question, are you covering for your childhood much the same way you covered for your marriage early on?
Hmm.
And even with regard to like your your mom, Like
Mm-hmm.
if your mom didn't leave a perfect, happy situation and decide to go live in a destitute status to
Yeah.
get away from your father because it was just god awful, awesome. It was
Yeah.
just smack up awesome for you to
Right.
do it. Like your
Yeah.
mom left for a reason.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And yeah, there's a lot in the book that I think um, shows how, like, the different lies that they um, were telling us and how things were manufactured more for the show. Um, I think a lot of that comes to light, and I think, with Christine and stuff, like you said, like the mother didn't leave for no reason, and then, like Christine even says, she didn't talk to her mother for a long time, so there was that element too of, and we don't see that addressed in the show about, how do you, because obviously she's mended fences with her now, but like, how did you get
right.
to that point? Um, and I think another thing with the show, and I may have said this before, but I don't think so, is usually with a show, like I'm imagining uh, different shows that are successful. So you start with a cast of characters, and then over the years you add more characters, right, to
Mhm.
to support them, and you see character development over time. And then shows come to a natural end. Like even in sitcoms, this is how it usually works, right? But in this show, we're going from the family, the adults, and all the kids, and then plus the 3 kids that were born into the show that we saw. So you go through this family of 23, and now we're losing characters because the kids are like growing up and don't want to be a part of it. And so we have like these 5 adults, including David now, um, and I guess 6. But I mean, you have some of them having friends, but they're not really pivotal to the story. Like Jen could be Tracy for all we know. Like it doesn't matter. She's not really adding much other than trying to be a voice of reason a little bit to Mary. But
Right.
like we go from 23 characters down to what, 10 now? Or even let's say 12. Like, but we're losing characters. So the show is not, it's not expanding like a usual show does. It's kind of imploding on itself. You're like losing more. And so those of us who are hardcore watchers who've been watching for a long time will watch, but how are you drawing people in when you're losing people? I don't know. It's
Right.
just how I look at it, like, the Big Bang Theory. They started with 4 and then they started adding their partners and the partners' families. And like you add characters, you add storylines, and we're losing it. And going and piercing ears is not going to be enough. So, anyways,
Yeah,
it's just,
I mean, I think that that's a point too, and it's just that they're not adding back value to the story
right.
because again, like I'm not, as much as you may like a character, like there are certain actors I like to watch on screen,
Hmm.
right, or in projects. But at the
Yeah.
end of the day, I'm not gonna watch them brush their teeth just to watch them
Yeah.
brush their teeth. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's got to be some reason as to why I'm tuning in. And that's what I was saying
Yeah.
earlier on. Like, if we think about it, like even with respect to a spinoff,
Hmm.
Sister Wives was about a polygamous family and basically a case study or, understanding how this family functions and works. If
Hmm.
they do a spinoff, what would that story be about? Like if you had to do a sizzle reel or you had to create some kind of treatment to pitch
Hmm.
this in a pitch
Hmm.
meeting for a network,
Yeah.
what would you say about this show to sell this show to the
Right.
network? You understand what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna
Yeah.
watch Christine and Janelle drive across the country and have conversations about what? I don't know. Like that's not a show. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. And I think, as much as I despise them as people, I think they're more morally bankrupt, Kody and Robyn. You need them there as villains, as
Mm,
counterpoints to people who are not as villainous. Um, but you need that there. Otherwise, there's no point. I mean, even I'm a family. I'm of 6 kids, right? So,
mm,
and big families, like 36 cousins on one side and whatever on the other. So like it's a big family. So there's always gossip happening and stuff. And it's human nature. You need that counterbalance. You need something to. So if Christina and Janelle are going around, like we're not that interested in, you know, Oh, like, we'll watch Tata Farms, but it's not like if it were just on its own.
Right.
What is compelling about that? Like, it's not like we need them. I just wish they weren't as bad. I wish Kody and Robyn weren't as bad as they are, but they're really bad. Like the thievery and the neglect and all that. It's there's a reason why we hate them. A legit reason. Many reasons. So yeah. So anyways, those are my thoughts, and I just thought while I had a chance, I'd call in and add to the convo.
No, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Very
Thanks.
valuable insight. Appreciate it.
Thanks, James. Love you and love your show.
All right. Hopefully everything works out for you. You will be in my prayers. I'll be pulling
Thank
for you.
Thank you so much, and I'll keep you posted, hopefully with all good news.
All right. Awesome. Awesome.
Sounds good.
Have a great one.
Thank you. You too. Bye.
All right. All right. And before, let me just check one thing. Yeah, appreciate you, Betty. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Then we're gonna do. We're just gonna circle back. I'm gonna bring Michelle up. Hear what she has to say. What's up, Michelle?
Hi, sweet. Sorry, really, really quick point. I just want to say, Alexandra, I will keep everything crossed for you except for my eyeballs and my legs. Okay? I will do. The other thing is, I totally agree with the point about why was truly nearly dying not enough to leave in that moment. To me, that says everything you need to know about how much you can trust your partner to be a parent, you know. But the other thing is, we have all almost seen Robyn openly question Kody on camera. Once we almost got it, and I don't know if anyone else picked up on it. The knife in the kidneys, the sacrifices I made to love you, wasted. During that, when Christine said, "Oh, I thought you were on board to go to Utah," see, I thought we were, and he was like, "No, no." And Robyn says to Kody, "Were you? Were you on board for that?"
Right.
And then if you watch what Kody does, it is skillful but still sloppy. He says, "No, I'll tell you what I remember, Christine." And then he does the bait and switch. "I remember your mantra being it's all about the family, not just the man." So instead of him actually answering, because I think in that moment, Robyn had twigged something didn't pass the sniff test.
Right.
Yeah. So if you go back and you ever watch that, just watch how skillfully he chaps and redirects. That's all I wanted to say. There are times that Robyn has been close to questioning that mofo, but there's no way those women didn't get told stuff about each other's homes. They knew too much. And Robyn, you hurt my heart when you're calling other women to the carpet about what they're prepared to tolerate in their love and lamplight time with their partner.
Right. I do love that.
That hurts my heart. That's wrong. Keep your nose out of other people's bed spaces, please, love.
Right.
Nothing to do with you. And just because you're prepared to go and, you know, what you say, taste is strange, not kink shaming, you do you, darling. You do it however you want. Don't be telling me what I've got to put up with because your standards are where they are.
Right.
Don't do that.
Right.
You know. Anyway, I'll stop waffling. Love you guys millions, and I'll speak to you again soon, guys.
All right, have a good one. Thank you so much. Awesome point.
All right, darling. Bye.
All right. Awesome. Michelle came back with some bangers. And you know what? And I think that's an excellent point. Because one of the things that does bother me is that you have somebody, and again, I'm not kink shaming at all. Right? Do what you gotta do. make it happen for you. You understand what I mean? Do you, boo boo? But like she said in the what you do in the lampshade, I mean, what you doing in your room is what you guys have agreed to do. That has nothing to do with anybody else. And it's one of the weirdest things because how much, and I might actually maybe I'll break my newfound rule. I might do a video just on that. Like, how crazy is it that you would sit there and say, I think that you should be doing XYZ when it comes to bedroom time. This is what you need to be doing. But then at the same time, when you're doing interviews, I remember her distinctly talking to Tamara and some other folks. And they said, well, why do you have 4 wives? Well, these are all 4 independent relationships. These are all 4 different people. They all have things that I love about them. And I'm in these experiencing these relationships, which is a textbook clear, good answer for why you're involved with multiple people. I'm not looking for carbon copies of everybody else. I don't want, wife 1, 2, 3, 4 to be the exact same person. I want them to all be different people because that's the whole purpose of you having multiple wives. But part of you having a multiple wives or various wives would be that you have varying opinions. You have varying tolerances when it comes to cooking. You're going to go over one wife's house. You're going to make food one way. You could have the same dish at all 4 houses and all 4 dishes are going to taste completely different. Right. And you shouldn't expect your second or third wife to do what your first wife is doing. Make your eggs the way your first wife make your eggs, or your breakfast. You might go over, the first wife, she know how to make eggs real good, but she burned the shit out the bacon. You go over the second wife house, she know how to make eggs okay, but she serve up raw bacon. You go to third wife house, she don't cook. You go to the fourth wife house, and she knows how to make everything. You don't say to the fourth wife, you need to go down there and teach them other ones how I like my no, that's not a thing. And when it comes to something as personal as what you're willing to tolerate, how your orientation comes together. And I think that how you express your intimate time is based on not just your orientation, but it's also based on your experiences. And there's a lot of things that go into it, things that you're willing to experiment with and try. I also think that some of those tolerances, some of those boundaries can be pushed and can be addressed if you do it in a loving and compassionate way to make the other person feel comfortable with exploring those different things, because their unwillingness to explore those different things might very well be rooted in the fact that they feel uncomfortable with it because they feel embarrassed about it. And you're not, and if that's the case, if it's something that completely disgusts them, then it's out the wheelhouse, then it's out the wheelhouse. But if it's something that they might be willing to try, but they just feel embarrassed or they feel dirty, or, this is something that I was raised not to do because we're not supposed to be enjoying stuff, and if you sit there and you create an environment where you're willing to try things, and they feel secure and they recognize the fact that, okay, if we do this, then in the morning, it's not like he gonna get up and then start throwing away cups and tell me that I can't eat off of nothing but plastic forks, plates, and dishes, and drink out of plastic ass cups because of what we did last night. Like, if you humiliate somebody and make somebody feel dirty or feel insecure, they're not going to be willing to try that little taste of strange that you might enjoy, or that little freaky dick that that freaky lick that you like, that whatever your little personal kink is. They won't engage in that. So I think some of it comes down to just like the communication you have with your partner, the openness you have with your partner, and the environment that you foster with your partner, and whether they're willing to try different things. But that's not a reflection of them. And that's why I think, for me, I take such a deep I find that so deeply insulting that you would try to push that, because I don't see evidence where Kody made these women feel safe and secure in their relationship. So for you to ask them to do some extraordinary stuff, especially when, like I said, so much is tied into sexuality that there can be embarrassment, humiliation. So it's such an easy fine line for you to cross into those areas. That for you to do that to these ladies is insane to me. Like, it's just crazy. Of course she's not, she's not willing to do something that maybe she feel like she's being super duper naughty doing it because she's afraid, especially if you got big mouth. Look, my thing is always, even when I was a young man, my thing has always been, if you with a woman and she allows you to do certain things, you keep your mouth closed about it. It ain't none of nobody's business what happened when the lights go out, right? Nobody's business. But if you have one of the wives coming back and talking, and goes to the whole realm of like safety and security, and I'm gonna have to get out of here because I'm probably gonna get myself in trouble with this last little bit anyway. But if you have somebody who makes you feel uncomfortable already, you're going into it feeling uncomfortable. Then you have a person who you don't even like, right? Coming to you saying, yeah, let me give you some notes on your experience. Here's what he likes to do. So clearly you guys have went and had a damn conversation about what it is we do in the boudoir. So why in the world would I be willing to experiment or to try new things or to put myself in a compromising situation with somebody who's just going to go back and run their mouth and give a play-by-play to, again, somebody, whether I like them or not, but especially if it's somebody I don't even like? What are we doing? Of course she's not going to be willing to try shit. It's going to be a hard no every time you come in there and try to, I always kind of had a fantasy. Hell no. Hell no. You go down the street to freak a deke, because she'll do it for you, And if anything, is that why she was complaining? She was complaining because old girl might have been complaining because she's like, I'm tired of carrying on. Every time he gets something in his mind, he coming down there to me. Because the other women had them hard boundaries. But yeah. It's just, I don't know. But let me let you guys go because I said it was going to be a 2-hour live. We creeping up on 3.5. So let me get ready and let you guys go. But before we depart, let me give a huge shout out to everybody who donated the super chats. We have Jody Paris Scala up in the house. We also have Raiders Ma, TYC21 up in here. And we have Lizzie B gifting one My Take on Reality membership. Again, I'm going to try to, we were doing a Friday afternoon live for members, but I want to try to put it at a time where more people can participate. We're going to have the panels. It's going to be awesome. Make sure you keep your eyes peeled for that. Hit the subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications so you'll be notified when I go live and we do stuff. Also, give a huge thank you to Betty Aldridge with the $100 super chat. I am going to sing it. I appreciate you, Betty. That was really generous of you. Thank you so much. But to everybody in the chat, everybody who's holding us down, appreciate you. Yeah, thank you so much, Lizzie B. Lizzie B holding play it. Oh, Lizzie B in the Mega Mod team, boy. You guys don't know how bad this show will be without the Mega Mod team. Lizzie B hit the speak pipe. Make sure you guys leave your messages on speak pipe. Ask your questions. Leave your thoughts. Get as snarky as you want to get on the speakpipe.com/my-take-reality my-take-on-reality. And we're going to play that for Thursday night. We're going to have the Thursday night live. It's going to be fun, guys. That if you guys want to leave your messages, I want to react to those messages. It's going to be awesome. It's just another way for you to participate. If you want to leave your name, that's cool. If you don't want to leave your name, that's also cool. Just type in anonymous or whatever. Say anonymous. That's fine. If you don't want me to play your message, but you just want to ask your question or make your comment, I can summarize it, paraphrase it, or just outright read it or whatever and respond to it. So again, it's just another way for you guys to be able to participate in the show. But thank you so much. And I appreciate everybody in the chat, as well as the Mega Mods. Big salute to Brittany, not Brittany, Lizzie B, and I didn't see Carmel Cuties in, but we're gonna give her a huge salute as well, because part of the team awesomeness, part of Team Awesome. That's what they are, part of Team Awesome. So let me give you guys a little something, something. And again, thank you so much, Betty. This is for you. All right. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with a player. I appreciate it.
'Cause I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Going for a ride down the side.